Welcome everybody to another edition of the C3 Friday Brawl. Oh, that's a mental. Yep, mute your microphone if you're not talking. My name is Cody Lashley, and like I was saying, this is the show for Panther fans by Panther fans. If you would like to be a part of the discussion today, well, then you are more than welcome to do so. I posted and pinned the link to the top of the YouTube chat. It's also in the description of the YouTube video and in the description of the Facebook video. We appreciate y'all for being here today. We have signs of life. We have good things to talk about. The Carolina Panthers offense did a thing, boys. Let's go. Carving up the New York Jets defense in joint practices. Panther fans are finally starting to see some of the things we've been wanting to see. Bryce Young, deep ball. Terrace Marshall Jr. once again looking like he has a ton of potential. You already know it wouldn't be a free-for-all without the boys. First up, you know him and love him. He might tell you to shut the hell up. It's Panther Pickle. Pickle, what's up, dude?
What's up, guys? Let's rock. Let's roll.
Let's rock.
Hey, man, listen, I want to say something real quick, Cody. For all those of you that need to know, because some of you don't, some of you do. If I say something or Jake says something or D says something, that ain't necessarily exactly what C3 Panther Podcast will say. That's what we say. That ain't what Tony says. That's what we said.
Everyone's
and
opinion.
If you don't like that,
down.
Shut the hell up.
Hey, man, if you would like to give your opinion, this is the place to do it because you already know what we do. Next up, man, this dude is the very dude. He is one of the most positive people you will ever meet in your life. He is an optimist. He believes in his Carolina Panthers, and he waves that C3 flag for the world to see. My brother D's ill skills. What up, D's?
What is going on, Cody? Another exciting Friday for the C3 Panthers podcast and the Friday free-for-all. Man, we got a game tomorrow. How excited is all the Panthers fans for finally football is back in our second preseason game. You know, the first preseason game, Cody, the Panthers sat 33 players. What does that tell me? It tells me we've got 20 spots open, 10 for the offense and 10 for the defense. Who wants to make this team? Now, we may not get to see those best of the best Panthers players tomorrow, but we get to decipher who the cream of the crop is of all the rest. Which 10 on offense do you want to make the team, and which 10 on defense do you want to make the team? This is your show for the fans and by the fans. Come join and tell us your Panthers opinion. Thank you, Cody.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, happy to have you as always, my brother. Next up, my boy. This is my favorite Gamecock fan. And that's saying something because I really don't like, most all Gamecock fans. But this one's pretty cool. It's the boy White Chocolate Espresso. Oh, shit. What up, dog? Are you muted? You're muted. No one can hear you, bro.
Oh, yeah, I'm muted. Shit. What's up, bro?
What up, bro? Hey, Bryce Young out there cooking, bro.
Apparently, he cooking something. Right now, I'm in an abandoned part of the hospital, just chilling, wasting time.
Damn, why is it abandoned, man? Is it haunted? Are there ghosts in there, bro?
Nah, they just moved the unit, and so nobody's using this unit. So, like, hey, I can come here and just get on the internet right here.
I mean, you could have lied to me and said, yeah, there's definitely a ghost in there, and it would have been way cooler. But
I'm sure there's some, like, dead spirits in there. They used to be the COVID thing, so.
And by the way, then you learned the Bank of America Stadium is built on a hospital that was for poor. Bro, look it up. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Next up, my brother. He's the biggest North Carolina Tar Heel fan I know. My man, Jay. What up, brother?
Hey, I'm not the biggest fan. That would be D-Money. D-Money definitely is more of a Tar Heel fan than me. But, hey, I'm there. I'm just glad to be here to talk some football with you boys. Anytime I can spend time with you on a Friday, man, it's always good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, brother. You know we love having you in last, but definitely not least, my Clemson amigo, my man Trigger Smitty. What's up, dude?
C3 fam, it's another Friday. Let's lock and load.
Let's do it, man. Another big time practice. Oh, we got one more person to introduce. My man Anthony cruising the streets of Charlotte, getting a sip of water before he spits hot fire on the free throw. Yeah, what up, dude?
What's going on, boys? How are you guys doing? Happy Friday, man.
Happy Friday, brother. Happy. Hey, man, y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live. Gentlemen, yesterday, but let me rewind it a little further. So, day before yesterday, I went on Twitter after apparently Bryce had thrown a couple interceptions, and I very lovingly put out a little jab out there. I'm like, "Has Bryce Young ever had a good day of practice? I'll see myself out." And then how about the next day, Bryce Young proceeds to ball the fuck out of control, throwing the ball to every level of the field. Bro, do I need to continue to shit?
Yeah, you put a spark under him.
Yeah,
there's a reason to happen.
Yeah, I really think y'all need to, thank me for providing the necessary fire that I do to Bryce. Since apparently I'm his number one hater, don't you know? But dude, looking incredible in practice. He was dicing up the Jets defense. Are y'all feeling a little bit better about Bryce now that we have seen a better performance, or are you still tepid about what you feel he might be able to do?
Well, Sam Darnold right now. Sam Darnold's looking good at Vikings camp, so you take that with a grain of salt.
Oh, okay. Sam Darnold is all right, bro. I don't care what no one says.
I think he could be something, but like at the same time, I'm not looking for positives. I'm making sure there's no negatives. There's nothing positive you get out of practice. You just look up for who's going to be negative.
The Minnesota Vikings signed competition today for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he did.
Mr. Matt.
Yeah, Matt Corral, baby. 9 iron. Let's go.
I mean, in practice, mostly gorge towards the offense.
No, not well. It depends. The joint practices. What I find is very cool, and we don't talk about this, and we haven't, or if anybody does, I ain't heard them. But me and Deez and him talk about it the other day. A lot of your NFL players now are preferring joint practices to preseasons, and the Jets last week, the Jets had a joint practice with the Commanders. And they played them. Then they have a joint practice with us, and they played us. Next week, they have a joint practice with another team, and then they're playing them. They have 3 weeks of joint practices. That might be the new thing. And the players themselves, the starters took 51 snaps in joint practice. With that being said, that is more snaps than they would take in a preseason game.
Ooh, look at that deep ball.
I like the joint.
Hey, so I just put this up. I'm going to get you right in on this, man. But look, is this not what we have been waiting to see? Bryce Young airing it out? Like, this is the guy that we were promised coming from Alabama.
I can wait to see it in a game.
Okay. So, hey,
I feel like people about practice like that.
A lot of people don't think that this is enough yet. Go ahead, Ant.
I don't think it's. I think it is like it's just something that to feel better about. Just because last year I remember in the joint practice there was already a lot of questions coming out about his play and how the team was struggling versus the Jets, and I think this is just a good little sign, I guess. Also, what no one talked about is he didn't have Deontay Johnson or Xavier Legette to throw to versus the Jets defense. But I do agree with Pickle's point. Like, I just think these are more entertaining and important than preseason games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of the NFL would prefer them. I think they're healthier.
Who did the Jets have out?
But I don't believe Quinn Williams was playing, which that's a big deal, right?
Yeah,
Did you watch the 99? I think a 99.9 The Fan with Donnelly. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah,
Did you see that at all?
I saw it.
I think the way he puts it is perfect. Is effectively is Panthers. I'll stretch the argument, but he basically was saying. I think he did say the Panthers would find a way to lose a Wednesday last year. So ultimately, it's nice to have at least like something to feel good about. But like Anthony was saying, really, this is something good for sure. But we need to see what happens on the field, right?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Hopefully Saturday.
And by the way, that was Strats. Welcome to the Free For All, brother. We're happy to have you. And let me go to my brother D's little skills. D's, are you now feeling better that we have seen our offense finally have some sign of life against another opposing team? Of all like that. That should be more assuring than anything. My brother, how are you feeling right now?
Bro, not only was it the offense that looked good out there against the Jets, it was the defense as well.
Yes.
We forced 5 turnovers on defense. That's phenomenal for the Severo team. I don't think a lot of people expected a whole lot after the loss of Brian Burns. They didn't think that this team was going to be as effective as the defense that we had last year. Well, they've got something else to prove out there on the field, and they showed it. Even our rookie Trevin Wallace picked up a fumble and had an interception. He had a great big day right there. There he is with a pick on Aaron Rodgers. Now, no, there's not very many, if any, Panthers fans that believe that we're going to the Super Bowl this year, right? But there are plenty of Jets fans out there that are convinced that they've got a shot at going to the Super Bowl, and the Panthers absolutely mopped them up and down the field in this joint practice. Now, Darren Gant spoke out just today or yesterday. He said, we watched that joint practice last year, and we let Frank Reich make excuses for it, and we all just accepted it, that we were going to be okay and moved on. But this was a different experience. This was an experience of seeing our team that was actually playing better, more energy, and more invigorated than the Jets team was. So all those are really positive signs for me. Not only the fact that we got to see that Bryce Young deep ball and no interceptions from Bryce, that's a big deal. We want to see him grow and develop. There's no other player that's more important to the future or the success of the Carolina Panthers. But some of these young players on defense starting to make plays as well. That growth and development is paramount to this Panthers team. We cannot get better without developing our draft picks and, of course, getting more draft picks. This is what it's all about. This is a rebuild, guys, and we've got to be excited about the people that are lower end on this depth chart making plays, and that's exactly what we saw in this joint practice game.
I love it, man. Trevin Wallace was doing things. This backfield continued to be smothering, even though Dane Jackson has since gone down due to injury. We're already sort of dealing with injury bugs, but I like what we're seeing, man. We look aggressive. We look fast. We look like we're flying around. Hey, real quick, shout out to Jerry with the $4.99 C3 bomb. Appreciate you, Jerry. Says, class of 2020, there are 5 good quarterbacks. High school is improving a lot, especially with the 7v7s. No reason Bryce won't be a star. And listen, man, like I have said that all it takes is one day to give Panther fans a little bit of excitement and things start to build. And now we start believing again. Now that you see that we finally have some firepower to this football team right now. So I'm loving what they're doing. I think we're taking a step in the right direction. I'm hoping that we see more of it, man. And eventually we're going to have to talk about Stefon Gilmore one more time to see if that indeed is in the cards. Because everybody wants that to happen. I don't know. At this point, man, it's hard to not want the extra buy-in, the extra help around here. But we have so much dead money on the books right now. We have no choice.
And money ain't the point. If you bring him in here, you're taking good reps away from young talent who are on the verge of breaking out. Now, if you put the old man in there and he hum-haws around or he even plays decent, And then at the end of the year, you're going to let a young talent go to another team and become a stud. And then it's, oh, we should have kept him. See, I told you, people. So that's exactly what it's going to be.
Who are you talking about?
I mean, Gilmore was okay.
Bring him back.
Gilmore has no desire to play. If Gilmore had a desire to play, his ass would have already been on that field.
Nah, he has a desire to play for a certain amount.
He wants $10 million to pay 1 year, and the bum.
If he can get it, he can get it.
Worth it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He's the best corner we've had. He's the best corner we had. But Howard Horn, he's the best corner.
Carolina.
So how much are we thinking about paying? Hold on. How
as
much
much as he wants.
About paying someone?
Yeah, he's a
like Stefon Gilmore.
He's a 1 year rental. How much as he wants?
Come on.
Once you pay him, you don't have to worry about next year. You don't have to worry about next year.
South Carolina players are all bums.
We can't.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
South Carolina players.
You son of a bitch! Shut the hell up.
You said them South Carolina players.
I can hear all about South Carolina up here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You're not in Charlotte. You're in Tennessee.
You don't know that. I might be. You don't know that. I might live in Charlotte and never told y'all the difference.
Bro, you're wild right now. Kev, why would you want to sign Gilmore? Why not go with the young guys that you have been saying?
Why can't you do both?
Sleeping on?
Why can't you do both? I mean, he's a 1 year rental. You're only giving him 1 year. It's not like you have multiple years of paying him.
Okay, he's still not worth $10 million for 1 year.
We don't have money, bro.
I mean, I tell you what you can do.
That's
we can find it.
Give him is that we don't have the money for
Here's what you
him
can do. Go ahead and
find
sign
it
him for $10 million. Go ahead and sign him for $10 million. Go find somebody else you want to and sign him. And then to make the roster,
hell yeah,
to make the roster spot, we'll just
you
tell
speak facts, Pickle.
to walk your bitch ass somewhere else and just cut him. And then you've got 30 extra million to play with.
Hell yeah.
This is literally. I was fine with Clowney because I actually like Clowney, and I don't know about these other edge rushers, but this cornerback room, I've heard a lot of good things, man. This is an evaluation year. I want to see what these young guys have, because as much as I complain that we can't hit on draft picks, well, like Pickle said, there may be some guys that just haven't been given a chance. And I just don't think that Stefon Gilmore moves the needle at all, besides for South Carolina fans wanting to add more South Carolina players.
What is it going to hurt?
What is it going to hurt? Yeah, let me get Jake in here. Jake, go off, brother, and then we'll go to Trey. Go ahead, Jake.
Even if they sign him, I still think the younger guys are going to get reps because he's not going to be on that field. I mean, even when he would play with us last time, he wasn't always out there. They still gave him a breath and stuff like that. They're going to give him even more rest if he comes here now. I mean, he's 30, 33, 32, however old he is.
Yeah, he's 30.
He's too old to play. He's too old to play. Then you give him $10 million on top of that. I mean, come on, that's ignorance. I mean, you know what? That's exactly the bullshit Scott Fitterer would do. Or Rodney Hurney would do. This is exactly the bullshit they did for the last 30 fucking years. But y'all go ahead.
I mean, listen, I would love to have him.
Defensive player of the year.
Let me just tell y'all why I'm standing down.
Was Deion Sanders good his last year with the Ravens?
I would love to have him, but I think that there is no way we have enough money to even.
We can find a way.
Somebody.
Cut a fit tight end over here. How many tight ends we got? Cut them. We got like 6 or 10 of them.
We ain't talking about tight ends.
Cut them and make some room for them.
You only want him because he's from
South Carolina. Cut the running backs. How many got? 8.
Carolina in the player and to come
play.
For
real though, it does piss me off how much dead cap money the Panthers have. And now you see Atlanta Falcons signing every damn body now. They got
old players.
They got Justin Simmons over there. And it's like the Panthers are never, ever going to be in any of these conversations, man. It's infuriating. Let me get Trigger in on this. Go ahead, Trig.
All right. As a Clemson fan, I'm going to say this. I would like Gilmore. for two reasons. Number one, I'm not gonna have to second guess what he's gonna
There you go,
bring.
right there. He's coming off an injury, a major injury.
He's
That
not. No, he's not.
he is. He had a torn shoulder. He had torn shoulder surgery at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that is true.
Last year,
They
No,
don't mess with
beginning of
him.
this year.
At
After
the beginning,
season
yeah,
is-
like at the
at-
very
at-
end.
That's
of
not
the
gonna.
last
That's not gonna mess with him.
Gilmore had okay. Well, he was fine with the Cowboys last year.
He
Well,
did play good. I mean,
after the
he
season.
wasn't bad last year.
I don't know
when
why
you
he had
actually
surgery.
watched what he
Maybe
was
he just
doing,
felt like
he
it. I
did
don't
play
know.
good.
I just
He
know
wasn't.
he
I
had.
mean,
Good.
I mean,
he wasn't. They
I'm
was
just-
one of the best secondaries, like as far as taking the ball away last year. They hurt us. Also, he's gonna bring a veteran presence. He's a Super Bowl winner. He's a former Defensive Player of the Year that can teach JC how to stay healthy, how to take care of his body, how to take that next step. He can also teach the young guys. He can do exactly for the cornerback room what Thielen does for the wide receiver room. Everybody was saying Thielen was too old, me included, last year. And look what he
Him's
did.
been running his lip on social media now for 2 months about trading Adam Thielen. He's too
We
old.
should trade him.
Now he turned around and wants to hire a 33-year-old. Just
Trade
go
him.
South
Because we
Carolina.
got better guys.
Well,
He don't want to be here, Pickle. He don't want to be here.
We're gonna
all
talk
it
about
is.
Adam
He don't want to
Thielen.
be here.
We're gonna talk
Well, he's
about
here,
Adam
ain't he?
Thielen.
He don't want to be here. Trade him. Get some picks for him.
We're gonna discuss the entire Adam Thielen trade.
Don't you shut me off, Cody.
I'll fucking drop a rock on you, some bitches in a fucking
Do it
heartbeat.
again. Do it again.
In case y'all didn't know, who's running shit around here, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, listen, I would love to have Stefon Gilmore. I just don't think that we don't have the paper. I don't think.
How much cap room do we have right now?
6.5 million.
Yeah,
6.5.
and we're only
preface
behind
something?
Atlanta. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, I mean, I don't think I have to explain why we don't have any cap room. I think that's just obvious to the people that have paid attention. But we're going to have cap space eventually. It's just all this dead money that we have. And I don't know. I don't know if signing him for like $10 million is worth it when we could just save that down the line. Like, I just don't think he should be a focus point of the season. I would rather see what the young guys have to play. Like, if you ask me, this is an evaluation season for all these young players, Ike Ekwonu, Bryce Young, all these other guys. And, like, I don't know. I just don't think that should be our focus right now. I think Dan, like, is telling you where we are, right? It's going to take some time. And I think he wants to actually go through with what an actual rebuild is. Playing young players. I don't think Gilmore is just going to increase our win total by, like, 4 wins. I like what Dan Moore, and I've complained about a lot of the things, but I like the approach that he's taking right now. I really do. And I think I'd just rather stick with what his plan is than get sidetracked, by going more in the hole with the
What are hey, Cody, who's the best free agent available right now?
The best free agent available?
I mean, y'all got to look at it from this point of view too, though. Like,
and how much
that question affects?
Can you have too many good? Wait a minute. And hold on, I got another question. And how many? And how many? Is there a thing as too many good cornerbacks on your team?
no,
no,
not in the passing league.
I mean, those two things right there. It's fine.
Not when you look at the quarterbacks we playing next year, neither. Like,
but Stefon Gilmore's services are needed on a team that's like a contender that is just a cornerback away.
He's needed anywhere.
That's the kind of move you make when you. That's the kind of move you make when you know your team is either shown that they're going to make the playoffs, like they're perennial playoff contenders. That's the type of move, like going and get Reddick. Like the talent that Reddick is. You would love me personally if we were choosing between the two, Reddick or Gilmore. Gilmore doesn't move the needle in terms of like he's a talent. He is who he is. But I feel like going out and getting Reddick would move the needle. That's a game changer. That's another win or two type of move, but you don't make it when you're evaluating so many players. Bryce has to go out and show potential to be a franchise guy. You got other dudes who need to step up also. Icky. You got young talent on the defensive side of the ball that's going to see significant playing time. So would love to have Gilmore, would love to have Reddick. But with cap being what it is and the number of players that are being evaluated, even the head coach, this is going to be his first year. You want to see what you have. At least I want to see what we have on the roster. If there's a way for Morgan to go out and finesse a great player, a great talent, and bring him to the team, I'm all for it. At the same time, and I'm at the same time, when the rosters get cut down, there are going to be 31 teams cutting players that they would love to try to they would love to keep this guy. They would love to keep that guy. And we're going to have our pick of the litter. So I love Gilmore. Gamecock. I'm a Gamecock fan. Always going to root for that man. But I'm definitely more on the side of let's see the young guys. Let's see what they have.
It's a 1-year contract though. Like it's not like you're signing him multiple years.
Yeah, but what we're trying to say is that that 1-year contract isn't gonna make this big impact for us. Like
you don't know that.
We don't know that.
So hey, let me just read this. Hold on. Let me read the C3 bomb real quick. Red Swarm says, as a Panthers fan, you have to ask yourself, how much does Gilmore improve a team expected to win 4 or 5 games?
Hey, 1 game is good enough.
Do y'all agree with that? By the way, that's also a little sneak jab from a Falcons fan. Okay, that's fine.
But that's what I'm trying to say as well.
He's not wrong, though. He's
not wrong. Hey, 1 game is better than nothing.
If you're going to spend $10 million
for 1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
On a 33-year-old, on a almost 34-year-old wide receiver,
and then he's off the books.
Who had shoulder surgery at the beginning of this year. That would, like I said, that would be a stupid move by the front office.
Now, by the way,
let me say this, y'all.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Number one, if you have an elite cornerback tandem, JC number 1, Gilmore number 2. Gilmore can probably be a top 5 number 2 corner right now at this age. And when you have 2 lockdown cornerbacks that can play man, that can play man press, that will keep you in a lot of games, bro. You can win maybe 3-4 extra games just off having a no-fly zone secondary. That's what he'll bring. And is he better than the guys that we're going to have out there at cornerback too? Absolutely. And he can bring that veteran experience. Like, he's a defensive player of the year. You know how hard it is to do that as a corner? Like, yeah, if it makes sense, if we can get the deal done, go get him.
I mean, he's Gilly Lock for a reason, right?
Yeah, you know what? I heard all this last year when people screamed and yelled to go sign Justin Houston. He was
screamed for Justin Houston.
All these.
I screamed for Clowney.
That's all you people wanted.
I want Clowney. I don't want
and everybody slobbered all over themselves because they was going to get a stud pass.
Well, but let me put this out there.
How did old man help your ass out?
How many years are you signing for?
Let me throw this out there. If it's
1
not
year too many.
Stefon Gilmore, J.C. Jackson and Adoree Jackson are also still out there available. They have Adoree listed as a little bit more expensive, surprisingly, than Gilmore. I don't know. It just depends on if he would be willing to take a hometown discount. Pickle, I understand all your reasonings, but at this point, it's like knowing that J.C. Horn has been hurt every year, I would want to have that backup plan at least there, even if it's only for a year at a time, and not knowing, about the depth at cornerback on this team. To me, it's concerning. But hold on, I want to add some more people in. Make sure I'm passing the mic. And we got another $10 C3 bomb from Kyle at Charlotte Sports 1. says $10 for the number of times Pickles' blood pressure spiked talking about Gilly.
I want that $10 then. If it's about me, I want my money.
Oh yeah, you know it does. But hey man, let me welcome my man Cole into the free for all. Cole, what's up, brother?
Looks like I jumped in the perfect time. What's happening, Cody?
Oh, perfect, man. We're talking about the potential of signing Stefon Gilmore, but I'm also giving people the opportunity to talk about if Bryce Young tearing up the Jets at Panthers training camp, has that boosted your morale a little bit further from these joint practices?
Absolutely. I'm not even going to lie to you. It means absolutely nothing, but as bad as we looked and as bad as Bryce looked last year, as much as I love the kid, it was nice to see him do something, especially against formidable competition. He was making throws out there on Sauce Gardner that I really loved.
Yes,
Most
sir.
importantly, Cody, I want to switch one thing. I saw you had a good crowd in here tonight, man. If nobody else does anything, please smash that like button for the family. We appreciate
You know it, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. C3 is year round. We got 137 viewers
Need
rocking with us on YouTube. We appreciate you all for spending your Fridays with the C3 Panthers podcast. So
can I say what I want?
Go ahead, Ant. And
Okay,
then I
so
get some more people in. Yep.
Cole brought up a good point. Like, I just want to bring this back to Bryce Young. Well, like,
yeah,
how can we not be a little happy that he's doing good, but then when he's doing bad, everyone shits about it?
Exactly.
So it's like in my conclusion again is that we shouldn't really care if he's doing bad or good. We have to see it on the field. And
that's the truth.
And then the second thing I wanted to say, I just think Evero's system is kind of like Bill Belichick's was. Like, J.C. Jackson was terrible when he left there. And, like, I just think Evero does a great job with these cornerbacks. I don't know if it's just worth spending the $10 million, which we basically have nothing going into next season. When I didn't think the cornerbacks were the problems last year. I thought the stopping the run was the issue. I didn't really find the corner.
So, go ahead. But that's why they said our passing attack was so good, because teams were running all over us and they didn't really have to throw the ball like that.
Hey, Cody, if you're worried about these edges and getting to the quarterback, well, what's a great deferrent to them?
What's the what?
What's a great deferrent?
I don't know that last word that you're saying there.
I'm not worried about them getting to the quarterback.
What can help with the room?
Two lockdown corners.
Exactly.
I think we upgraded the run stopping ability of this team. I think that's what was the most important thing.
The most important thing on this team is stopping the run. Like I've said a bunch of times before, ask any professional athlete and they will tell you. Yeah, Cody's blowing kisses at his girlfriend. She's in the chat, by the way.
Right, I'm blowing kisses at my girlfriend.
She ain't blowing kisses at me and
I damn sure ain't blowing pickles with no kisses. I'll tell you that much right now, dog.
Yeah, that's what I said. You damn sure ain't blowing them to me.
Nah, I ain't blowing them to Panther pickles. That's the damn
sure. Now, let's
shout out to my
baby,
though.
Pass rusher, a pass rushing team makes bad corners look good. So if a pass rusher can make bad corners look good, a pass rusher can make a good corner look like a Pro Bowl corner.
All right, so listen, let me. Yeah,
that's vice versa too.
Let me finish.
Yeah,
I'm going to make a statement here. I will make the Carolina Panthers will not sign a corner till after week 1 if they sign any at all. They may claim one off waivers, but they will not sign a free agent corner at all or edge rusher until after week 1 if they sign any at all.
They probably won't.
All right. So listen, man, let me get some more people in here. We got my man Locks back on the free for all. Locks, how you been, brother? Locks, do I got you, bro? Unmute your microphone, brother. Big Locks.
Hey, Cody, I gotta get back to work.
All right, man.
I'll let y'all get back into it.
All right, man. I'll get you back in here if you want on later.
All right, man.
All right, man. Now let me get some of these folks in here, bro. One, you already know the pod is always made better for one of the most optimistic Panther fans you'll ever meet in your life. My man, my dog, one of my great friends, D Money in the building. What's up, brother D?
Yeah. What's going on, my C3 family? What's going on, my Panther family, on this fine Friday, the eve before we go to combat in this son of a gun, yo? So, before I go into my realm of positivity, Pickle, I love you. Your comment was, your statements was about close to being spot on, but the disrespect to call a former NFL Defensive Player of the Year, a dude who has still been active on every team he's played on, he has produced. You called him a bum. Nice. Now, with that being said, calling him a bum.
Let him go. 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 Go ahead, D. Go ahead, D.
Hold on, let me get it. You called him a bum. All right. Now, I'm with you. I'm not all for bringing Gilmore in for a high price tag, right? But we got to call it what it is. If he was to come to Carolina, he will contribute. He will. But in the same breath, I don't want the price tag on it. That's why I don't. But when we sit here and we call some cats who have the accomplishments and still have the longevity to play at the level that he's playing, bum is is very uncalled for. Now, let's get back to the real thing. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 interceptions yesterday.
Yeah.
The Jets had 5 damn turnovers yesterday. All right. Yep. Trevin Wallace picking off balls out the sky. No, did it. Yep. He over there recovering fumbles and he was doing his thing. Ashawn Robinson, peanut punching all over the damn place. That's the junk we see. You got boys out here that's ready to ball. We got dogs. And then let's go on to my man Bryce. My man Bryce said, you know what? I'm going to let you talk that shit. I'm going to let y'all say I'm a midget. I'm going to let y'all say I ain't got no damn arm. I'm going to let you say what you want to. But at the end of the day, I'm going to come out there and show y'all why we got the biggest audience at camp. While Aaron Rodgers and his Super Bowl contending ass team decided to drive into Charlotte. But what did they get? Bryce running to the outside, throwing off the cup. Had Terrace Marshall Jr. looking like his stock was rising. You know Jesus is real when Terrace Marshall Jr. is daggone mossing cats out there on the field. And then we sitting here, we clacking, we fighting, and we doing everything that we daggone supposed to. Oh, family, I'm ready. Because when we get in there tomorrow, yeah, they said it, Rodgers was picking our defense apart, right? But when it mattered, what did we do? We took the ball. Now, everybody else wondering why I'm so hyped up? Because for the last 5 damn months, I said incremental improvement. We're laying bricks and we're building a foundation. And everything that looked so slow, and it was a slow thing, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, bam! Oh, Bryce looked good. Bam! The defense looked good. Bam! We look like we got some fight in us. Bam, we got some fire in us. And that's what we're talking about, incremental growth. These cats have been going through the reps. Like Evero said, those rookies are moving a hell of a lot faster than they did when they came into OTAs. As we expected, these guys are hitting the ground running. Yes, it is unfortunate that we have some people banged up in the secondary, but from what I've been seeing, even in that Patriots game, we had young dogs stepping up trying to prove a point out there. Let's not forget that Jameson was out there breaking up passes. Let's not forget Lamar Jackson, defensive side of the ball, was out there trying to make plays. You got Alex Cook out there flying around the ball. See, the thing is we have a group of puppies that are learning to be dogs. They learning that they got that pressure in their mouth that when they lock on and that head shake, they ain't gonna let go till they damn well ready to. So Jets, get ready, because we're packing your ass back to Orchard Park. And like I always do, motherfucking pounding.
Let's
C3
go.
Keep pounding.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
if I
That
ever
deserved
found
a rock
myself,
drop, baby. That
I
deserved a
ever-
rock drop.
You wait till we
if
start
I
winning.
ever found myself getting ready to go into battle, he giving the speech before the fight started. He's doing.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna have no word. That's the type of energy I want to hear.
Yo, D is the man. Certified. Hey, drop the rock. More about these Carolina Panthers, dog. I love it. I love it. I love it. And listen, man, one of the things that my brother D mentioned that I think that we need to discuss, because I want to know if this is real or if this is something that we should be wary of, him being another camp body and camp body only. Terrace Marshall Jr. is going off in Panthers training camp, flashing all of that talent that he once upon a time showed when he was at LSU. Are we finally seeing the best of Terrace Marshall? Yeah, I mean, and he's showing some flashes here. Are y'all expecting big things from Terrace Marshall Jr.? And before we go, I'm going to introduce my man, longtime friend of the show, Mr. Beefy Toes in the building. Got the hair on lock, man. Looking good. Mr. Beefy Toes, what's up? You know you're muted, brother.
What's up, boss? How y'all doing today?
Doing good. How are you, man?
Shit. I took the day off, so that's great.
All right, man. What are you thinking about Terrace Marshall Jr. so far through training camp? He's been a pretty dependable weapon for Bryce Young. Do you think that he can continue to grow upon and build upon what he's been able to do in the training camp thus far?
I mean, if he has the motivation to want to get better and got that dog in him, wants to get better and make plays, he's just got that mentality and wants to keep on pushing and get better and better. Absolutely. It's really in his court, if he wants to do that, which all these guys, they're from what I'm seeing, they're trying to get their name out there. They're especially on the defensive side, from what I saw last game. These younger guys, they're showing some grit. They're doing
flying around, smacking people, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
It feels like they're taking to whatever Dave Canales is selling.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say right now. Hey, it's a free for all, baby. Who wants to jump in on this Terrace Marshall conversation?
Man, let me get in on this thing right quick, man.
Go ahead, man. Do your thing, brother. Go ahead, man.
All right, so look, check this out. I want Jalen Coker, and Terrace Marshall is really pissing me off because he's stealing the shine from the young bull.
So petty.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
like, is this temporary? Because we've seen him dominate camp before. We've seen him have a good preseason, his first rookie year, and then season starts and it's dropping passes, it's lining up wrong, it's stopping in the middle of a long route. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just all this elementary stupid stuff. So you know what I'm saying? Give me Coker, man. I want Coker, but like, anybody that thinks Terrace isn't gonna make this team is a fool, I think, because he's really solidified himself. But same thing like we say about everybody else, we got to see it in the game, man. Like, we got to see it when it matters more. Dude, you supposed to be mossing dudes. You supposed to be catching fade routes. Like, you're supposed to be dominating. You know what I'm saying? You're a second round pick. So, I mean, I like what I'm seeing from Terrace, but I ain't holding my breath. You know what I'm saying?
And wouldn't that be the most Panthers thing ever? It's his last year of his deal, if my memory serves me correct.
It is.
Yeah, is he in our long-term plans? If not, go ahead and move on from him now.
Let's be real though. Doesn't that depend on what he does this year? Like, if he really comes out and makes a statement, man, the franchise tag would be crazy expensive. I mean, listen, we're talking very high right now, but I'm just saying every single training camp, and yeah, there have been times last year when he flashed as well, and he shows you that incredible jump ball ability that he has. When we were together at Back Together Saturday, me and Dee kept on commenting on how good Terrace Marshall Jr. was in the back of the end zone. He's very good at that contested catch. Now you add Jonathan Mingo. Now you're adding Xavier Leggett. Now you add Deontay Johnson. All of a sudden, man, Panthers could have a select little wide receiving core.
Yeah, we
How many
could,
chances?
but you gotta look at who we gotta pay next year too, though.
Cole. Hey, whoa. Hey, Cole, you.
What up, Locks? Yeah, what's up, Locks?
Hey.
How you been, brother?
I mean, I wanted to get in on the last subject y'all had. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to interrupt nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you cool. Go ahead, Locks.
Nah, I forgot what it was. What was it?
Man, we've been talking about Gilmore. We've been talking about Terrace Marshall Jr. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know Timo, but you said Gilmore and who else?
Terrace Marshall Jr., man, he's really looking like a standout wide receiver in training camp thus far, man.
Man, to be real with you, man, like the whole time I was on here, I was gonna talk about the first subject y'all was talking about, but I don't forgot everything I was gonna say about that shit.
Bryce was the first subject.
But look,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. I don't forget, but I got one thing to say. I told y'all about the kickers, though. I told you I do not trust no rookie kickers. I told y'all Eddie Pinero, he's been accurate his first couple years here, and he was gonna win that job. I didn't say that exactly, but I said I do not trust rookie kickers. But hey, that's all I got to say. I'll jump back in if y'all hit another subject I want to talk about.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, we appreciate you, Locks. Yeah, appreciate having you on the show, man. And hey, by the way, real quick before we go forward, my man Red Swarm, if you're still in the chat room, brother, hop in, man. We can ask you some questions about them. Them Falcons have been stacking, bro.
Nah, we don't want to talk about the Falcons this week. No Falcons this week. No, bro, they done had enough. They done had enough attention this week with these signings they making. That's pissing me off. Yeah, they can get in on another week.
They are pissing me off too, bro. But that's what upsets me though, man. That the Panthers are never in the conversation to be signing these dudes. How much would y'all love to have Matthew Judon opposite of Jadeveon Clowney right now, man?
I don't. Not until we winning. There's no need. Matthew Judon should be somewhere where there's a contender, man. We'd be wasting Matthew Judon's talent even having him on this roster this year.
Are the Falcons a contender?
My honest opinion, respectfully, no, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I really don't.
They got a good shot to make it playoffs. And
they threw a nice bag, though. They threw a nice bag. But we ain't got bags to throw.
Yeah, they don't either, though, D.
Somehow they found one.
Bro, I looked at their cap space. They spending money they don't even have, bro. They're about to be the Saints in a couple years. Like, no lie. This Falcons are. They're spending money that they do not have right now. They do not have that money. How they found it, I don't know. But
they went in the couch. They looked in the couch.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, either way, they got the deal done. And so obviously, in some way, they think they contenders. They feel they had their franchise quarterback. They feel like they got their franchise running back. They feel like they got their franchise receiver. And then they added 2 pieces on defense. So if you look at it in their perspective, yeah, they probably feel that they are Matt Judon and a Justin Simmons away. I'm just saying for Carolina, adding Matthew Judon, we just spending money. That's just what we're doing. We're just spending money.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. Like I just one day I dream of the Panthers being a legit destination for something like this to happen, man.
Have we ever though? We've won without being a prime destination.
I dream of it, man.
It'll be after this season. Like my opinion on how the season's gonna go. Well, record wise, if we're looking to having a respectable record, we're gonna have to get off to a hot start. I forget where I heard it from, but they were talking about how the Patriots with Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, how they would use the first 4 games of the season, first month.
Preseason.
They used that like a preseason, and their goal was to get out of the first 4 games with a 2-2 type record, and then they go on a tear, win 6, 7, 8 games in a row, secure the division, and Not saying that that's what the Panthers can afford to do this year, but if you're trying to have a winning record, they're going to have to get onto a hot start. And especially after this training camp, all signs are pointing to the offense is actually going to be able to hit the ground running, or at least moving with a little urgency. I don't think we're going to be seeing the same thing that we saw last year, where it's like you're by week 3, you're like, this is what our offense is, and you already know, but week 3 last year, guys are already starting to look to the draft. I don't think we're going to be worried about the draft until after the season this year.
I think the problem I have with that, Dave Canellis has traditionally started slow, and it's been reported normally that his offenses don't really start kicking to about midway of the season. I feel like the defense is going to be a major part of how much success we have in the first half of the season. I feel the second half of the season, the offense should be catching up or whatever. I don't feel that we're going to have a winning record this year, but we're going to have a record that's going to put people on notice that, hey, these guys are getting better. And if they make the right moves the next offseason, they could start to, make the move that they need to. Because, see, right now, the main thing that we should have on our mind, and I've been screaming this for 5 to 6 months now, is improvement. Just gradual improvement. Like one, offensive line getting pushed. Defensive line and linebackers stopping the run. Disciplined play. No more all these false starts and holding penalties that kill drives in the first place. Those are the things that we should be paying attention to and looking forward to getting better. Now, if for some reason we catch lightning in a bottle and we can ride that bottle, great. I'll be in here yelling, keep pounding like a motherfucker. But until that point, I'm celebrating every incremental win, movement, progress that any of these players have, because we're thinking of the future. So anybody who steps in that role and steps up and performs at a level that is conducive to the NFL's play, that's the goal. It's now like, yes, we want to have a competent product on the field, but we really should be thinking about improvement and development. We have a lot of young dogs on that team that look like they really want to take over a position as they gradually go. So the biggest thing to do is make sure these guys get their reps, make sure these guys are doing it the right way. They got the right technique. They got the right angling. All those things that's conducive to winning football. Right now, if you do the things to win, eventually you win. But if you're just sitting there, just going through the motions, which it seems like we've been doing for quite a bit of time now, just going through the motions, throwing shit at the wall, seeing if it sticks. And that's not going to work, especially in today's NFL. Okay?
Cody, may I ask D a question?
Go right ahead.
So there's
Red Swan, by the way, our resident Falcons fan. What up, Swan?
Appreciate it. What's happening with y'all brothers this afternoon, man?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so it's different levels of contention depending upon what you're contending for.
Yes, sir.
So out of respect for the answer that you gave, I would ask you, what were you responding to when you said that my team you don't view as a contender? What level?
Oh, here, can I take this one? Or do you want to actually eat it out?
You can answer how y'all want to, but I did ask D specifically.
Yeah, we'll go D and then we'll open it up to everybody.
So you're asking, where do I think the Falcons, as far as I felt they was talking about like contentions as far as NFC Championship or Super Bowl. That's the level I was thinking at.
So that's two different levels right there, because one, you could contend for the NFC Championship and fail, but you were in contention for it.
Yes.
You could contend for the Super Bowl like the 49ers did and fail, but they appeared in the Super Bowl.
Correct.
So it took a lot to get there. You could also contend for a winning record. You could contend for a division title.
I agree.
You could defend for, there's a lot of different levels. I just wanted to be clear about what you meant when you say that you don't see my club as being a contender.
Well, let's reframe this.
Well, there was no
Let's
disrespect.
reframe this a little bit.
Hold on.
All right, I haven't said a word. I said one sentence at like 5 minutes into the thing. So
all right, calm down, everybody. Let me let
I'm gonna go
Strats
on
get
mute,
in.
Cody. I'm gonna go on mute so you
No,
can get the
you're
fellas
good.
in.
Everybody's good. Go ahead, Strats, and then I'm gonna open it
no,
up
it's okay.
to-
Go ahead. You guys go ahead. You guys are doing your thing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got the mic.
No. Now I forgot what I was saying. So go ahead. Doesn't matter.
When you get the mic, go ahead and run with it. Go
All
ahead,
right,
D.
I'll say something. Okay. First and foremost, anybody that makes the playoffs, and whether we like it or not, and we don't like it, we flat out don't like it. Cody was on a podcast earlier today. I think it was yesterday, rather. Excuse me. I listened to it today. He was on it yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah. Now
You did your thing too, Cody.
he said it. To be reality, we don't like it. But right now, the Falcons are predicted to be the winners, and they do have the talent. We may not like the idea, but they do. Number two, all of us don't, or most of us don't really feel the Saints are there. They'll be last. Okay? That leaves the Panthers and Bucks somewhere in the middle. And right now, that's where we are. It may not be nice to fans, but that's where we are. Number two, we've seen too many NFL teams go into the playoffs, barely squeak in as a wild card. Next thing you know, they're playing in the Super Bowl. Okay? So anybody that makes the playoffs can be a contender for the Super Bowl. We Panther fans may not like it because the Falcons have a potential to go to the Super Bowl. But tough titty said the kitty.
I did remember what I was going to say. Thank you, Pickle. You reminded me. Pickle, were you done? I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yes.
Obviously, let's not forget that no matter what, I mean, everyone's obviously the main goal is to get to and to win a Super Bowl. That is obviously what the whole point of an NFL season is supposed to be every year. But obviously, some teams are not in the right shape to be able to, not physically, but just in other things, to be able to maybe realistically attain that goal. But what I see from the entire entire NFC South is that effectively we all have some form of a rebuild kind of going on. I hate to use the word rebuild because, but with the Falcons, if you're going to play Penix,
it's not a bad word, Strats. I don't know why people hate to hear it.
Well, I feel like it gives connotations.
It's not. It's just people don't want it to be. Or they want it to be a bad word.
My point is all of these teams in our division, including us, all of us have some form of something that we're, like with the Falcons, you guys have a huge quarterback problem. Hopefully I don't want to say hopefully, but maybe you fixed it this year. But that's going to take time to develop. So it's not like maybe you get lucky and it's like Houston Texans right off the bat. Maybe that happens. I don't know. But there's all these mechanics and moving parts to this thing. Every one of these teams in our division, I honestly believe it's a 1 in 4 shot at this point. Literally, it could be any of these teams that could actually, win this division at this point, just because of how many problems we've all had to all these teams have overcome and all of the issues that they're, all the players that they're bringing in to try to patch those issues and everything like that. Nothing seems cohesive. Nothing is like, when you look at other teams, like let's say the Chiefs let's leave them out, but let's say, let's leave the Eagles out. I'm trying to think of a good example here. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good example, but if you just pick like another team, not the Bears. Oh, Jesus. I can't think of one now off the top of my head. Eagles. Well, yeah, but so Eagles. Let's go Eagles. They have a general idea of like what's been working before and where and what shape they're trying to get after, right? It feels like our 4 teams, we're kind of still, all of us are figuring it out. So it's equally like anyone's ball game. I wouldn't put any team over any other team in this division right now. That was a long way to say that, but sorry.
It's a free
you gotta look at you gotta look at yeah, me too. You gotta look at the Falcons, bro. The roster is better.
with you because And I agree with you that each team in our division has a new offensive coordinator. So we have, in essence, a new identity on offense. But
That's the better word to use. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but what I would say is some teams, the approach to what you want to do, there are different approaches across the NFC South.
Oh, true. 100%.
And I'm on here. Y'all, I'm ready for it. It's Friday free for all. So y'all bring it to me. Don't be weak and don't be shy. But I'm on here and I'm gonna talk my shit. Cody, I'm gonna talk my shit.
Hey, we want you to talk that shit.
You can say what you will. You can say what you will. I, just like everybody else, was just flabbergasted when we drafted Michael Penix, a top 10 pick on a quarterback, when you're trying to build and you need so much help on the other side of the ball. But then and let me just tell you this. I think that my team was going to stay with this youth movement until Braylon Trice went down last weekend and our safety went down as well, the kid from Alabama. I think that Raheem Morris was going to see what he could do with that defense without making these moves. I heard somebody say earlier that my GM is following the same pattern in New Orleans as their GM, Mickey Loomis. And I cannot disagree with you more. And I will tell you, for those who don't know, because you don't follow your team as well as I know my team, where the money came from. And it was Chris Lindstrom that they restructured. They did not extend him. He had money that was easily converted into this year and just a cash bonus that cleared up $10 million. So instead of leaving it year to year to year, they paid him just like it was, what do they call it, where the guaranteed money. They went ahead and advanced the guaranteed money. And I got news for you. Y'all ain't gonna like this shit. Y'all really ain't gonna like this. But the buzz in the Atlanta Falcons circles now is they can do the same thing with going ahead and working out a deal with AJ Terrell that could open up as much as $16 million. It doesn't extend him at all, just open it up. But they're going to have to extend him anyway because he's playing on his 5th year. And they're talking about going to get Stephon Gilmore to make that defense where you can't throw against it. What is the purpose of a safety in the defense? The word should give you a key. Safety.
One support.
Safety.
Not get beat.
Nothing gets behind them. Yeah, nothing gets behind them. So the plan on defense is limit scoring from other teams and outscore them with Kirk Cousins, who always throws for 4,000 yards. I'm done, Cody.
Yeah, my final question for you, and then I want to introduce somebody in the end of the pod. Is
I see PPP.
Like I'm just thinking about this setup y'all got, and it just seems to me so dependent upon the health of Kirk Cousins. Like, if that guy is who you want him to be, an elite level game manager that hands off to Bijan and gets the ball here and there, hey, that's all good, man. But I'm just telling you, brother, this ain't just shit talk. I believe this to the bottom of my soul. The Falcons gonna Falcons, brother. The Falcons are gonna Falcons. Every single time.
That's your hate because it's a cliche. It's a cliche.
Every single time that the Falcons are said to be one of the better teams in the NFL, they always fail to meet those expectations. So I'm sorry. Right now, until y'all prove something, I still think Tampa's winning the division.
That's a fact. Until we prove something.
As of right now, I'm still saying that Tampa Bay wins the division.
Yep. Me too.
I don't want to hear nothing.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. I'm on your show. I respect that. All I can tell you is only time and week by week week will tell. But I will tell you this. In order to do what you just said, just to be the cliche, not only are we going to have to Falcon once, but we're going to have to Falcon twice.
I mean,
I don't know if you saw Michael Penix throw the ball the other week, but I'm sure you saw him at at Washington throw the ball. And all I'm going to say, and I'll be done quick, because I know it's too much Falconism for you. But what I'm telling you is, if something happens, which everybody wants to happen, to Kirk Cousins, and I don't ever want to see no player injured. But if something happens, God forbid, to Kirk Cousins, then we're going to run with a rookie, just like the Bears are doing, just like Washington is doing, just like Minnesota was planning to do. We took a quarterback out of a dynamic draft class this year. And I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to talk about quarterback play and how it affects the how far your team will go. So I'm going to leave it there.
Okay, I see what you're trying to do there, Swarm. You're not
I want to say this, and then I'm gonna leave the Falcon stuff alone, bro.
All right, go ahead, Trig, and then I'm gonna introduce somebody that has been waiting to speak. Go ahead, Trig.
In my opinion, they should be the favorite to win the division because they just gave themselves arguably one of the best secondaries in the NFC with Terrell, Bates, and Simmons. And then when you throw in, they still got Grady Jarrett. They added my boy Rukaroru, who's gonna be a silent steal. Now they already have their core on offense with Pitts, with London. They added Benyon. So that not only did they set themselves up to run the division right now, they set themselves up for the next few years if they can keep their core together. But that's a big deal.
We don't know what the future holds. We don't know what injuries happen, what teams sustain, what
we're just going by roster. We're just going by what it looks like in the off season based on the roster. That's all we can go by.
Yeah. So wait, hold on. I know everybody wants to go. I've been waiting for this guy to get in and let him have his opportunity. We got Panthers Prime Podcast on the free for all. But I know he didn't just drop as soon as I was about to intro this, man.
He got scared, Cody.
Why y'all do that, man?
He laughing his tail off right now that I said that, by the way.
Stopped the action just to let somebody... Here he is. He's back. We're going to try again. Panthers Prime. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you?
Hey, you're breaking up, brother. It's hard to hear you, man.
Oh man, yeah, I got one bar that just popped up on me. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. How are you, man?
All right, awesome.
I thought you got scared and ran, PPP.
Nah, man. As soon as I was getting ready to say something, man, the whole screen just went out. Streamyard been acting crazy
it's okay.
the past couple of days.
No, it's Cody. Right, he did it. He blocks all cap on his show, man. You can't come on here capping. So that's why he did it.
Hey, come on with it, man. Talk to me, man.
Well, if that's the case, Red, you should have been gone a long time ago because all you said was cap. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh yeah, you know. Hey, but Panthers Prime, man, how you feeling about this Panthers team right now, man?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was at joint practice yesterday, man, and
nice.
I feel real good. I feel pretty good. I like the direction that Canellis is kind of going in. I think that we're not playing our starters again. Bryce probably won't be playing. I'm kind of okay with that, considering the fact that I think I understand his mindset around it. But I mean, I was left without any words, man. I was shocked by how we played, and even watching some of the Jets commentators and a podcaster that was talking with past players from the Jets. They came into Carolina thinking that it was going to be like how it was last year, and it was totally opposite from that, and it kind of shocked them. Aaron Rodgers visibly frustrated on the field, man.
He was pissed.
Yeah, he was pissed, man. So I feel good, man. I think people have us as the underdogs, as they should. We were 2-15, but I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, it all depends on if this offense believes in themselves and if we're going to have wide receivers that can be in position and an O-line that'll block. It's really that simple, man. Just like I know Red Swarm is feeling good about the Falcons because the mindset is, well, Kirk Cousins doesn't even have to do that much. All he has to do is enough. Well, that has always sort of been what we've envisioned Bryce to be. Put weapons around him. Now you have Terrace Marshall Jr. continuing to show what he's capable of. Jonathan Mingo looks to be improved in his second year. Deontay Johnson, if I'm being frank, looks just like what the doctor ordered for a wide receiver for Bryce. Man, Bryce doesn't have to do too much.
Cody, I disagree with you. I disagree with you. And let me tell you why. And I'm gonna be quick with this.
Hold on,
PPP. Hold on,
Way too stopping,
PPP.
fan. No, you be
One at a
quiet.
time.
You be quiet, Blue Swarm.
Last year, Cody was not saying that all Bryce had to do was just enough. He wasn't saying that. And
He said
I'm gonna
that
tell you
a
something.
few times last year. That's not what he started to say.
Okay. Who is this? Strats?
Yeah, that's
What?
Strats.
Yeah,
so let me just say this. Let me say this. He probably said a number of things regarding Bryce last year, but he also said that his number one draft choice was warranted and that he was going to take. He didn't say that he was going to ride along. He said he's going to take this team places. So what I'm saying is that I think as an opponent, I think I have listened to the majority of this fan base, and Bryce ineffectiveness and his poor play last year has brought y'all down a level to the point that you're saying if we can get the right talent around him and he can just manage in the offense, we'll be fine. But I got news for you. I would think that's a pretty expensive ordinary quarterback for what you gave up to get him. If that's all he ever becomes.
If we've seen anything last year alone, was that game manager, even Cam defines this, is like there's levels to it. So you could be a shitty game manager, you could be a great game manager, you could be a middle ground. So they're all over the place. I think I don't want to put words in Cody's mouth, so to speak, but my take would be that he was saying that he would be an excellent game manager and at the close to the top of the class, so to speak, not just his yearly class. I mean, of all game managers existing in the NFL as quarterback currently. But Cody, you should probably take that out.
Stretch, you like numbers. 2 and 15 is not a good statistic.
That's not his Hold on, we already know that. But let me speak for myself. Everybody knows if they've been following this pod for a while, I preferred Stroud if we were going to move up and draft a quarterback. And I was okay not moving up because it meant that we could have taken one in this year's draft. And I think we wouldn't have had to trade up very far to get one. But
I agree, Cody.
To answer what exactly I said, yeah, I do believe that Bryce Young can take us places. I will also admit that he left a lot wanting last year, and I want to see a lot more from him to the point where I think this year, other fans might disagree. It feels like a make or break year for Bryce Young after the weapons that they put in front of him and the two guards that they went out to put in front of him to better protect him. Now, I've always said that Bryce Young has a clear route to success in the NFL. I feel like multiple teams have shown you how to build around a quarterback like Bryce Young. You put speed and athleticism everywhere around him. That's what the 49ers do. That's what the 49ers do with Brock Purdy. That's what the Dolphins are doing with Tua Tagovailoa. I think Bryce fits that same mold of quarterback. And none of those teams that I just mentioned required their quarterback to be an absolute superstar. And that's all I'm saying. Bryce has to do just enough. And he has to take care of the football. If he does that, his playmakers will be enough for him. Running the football will be enough for him.
Right.
Managing the game on a high level would be enough for him. And that is exactly what y'all want Kirk Cousins to be for Atlanta. It's the same scenario. We're wanting a game manager that everyone can trust with the ball in his hands to make the right decision. That's it.
Let me jump in. You can be a game manager and still throw for 4,000 yards. I don't know why people think you can't. But
most NFL quarterbacks in the NFL are game managers. Before you're a superstar, you're a game manager. Brock Purdy is just a game manager. Fact is, he's got a bunch of talent around him. He's just a game manager.
I mean, he's a high-level game manager.
The guy that a lot of people say is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game was a game manager. Tom Brady,
Tom Brady?
that's all Tom Brady
Oh my
ever
God,
was a game
I
manager.
hate this topic.
But
I hate this discussion.
He became a game
my
changer,
started it,
but
bro.
early in his career, he was a game manager. He was a game manager that became a game changer, and that's what I think Bryce
but
can do.
no, see, my take on it is Tom Brady remained a game manager, but he refined that shit to such a degree. How, like Mahomes right now, right? Mahomes right now, if you it's the final quarter, it's the last drive, and the Chiefs had a ball, and it's a minute on the clock, it's 50 seconds on the clock. You're sitting there like you left him with too much time. Tom Brady had that same fear in teams before Mahomes. He refined his game manager abilities, his talent. He
I have
refined
a
it to the
different
point where
term for Tom Brady, and I call him a Super Bowl winner.
the style of quarterback play. Tom Brady wasn't out there hitting people with juice, spinning around. He stayed in the pocket. He delivered the ball on time to the guy who was getting open. That's not to say Brady didn't go to the books and show you that he could air it out if he needed to. But his whole career was built off of a right play at the right time, being the point guard of the team. And then when it came to clutch moments, crunch time, that final drive, Brady showed you he wasn't just a game manager. That's where he separated himself.
The problem I have with game manager is that game manager generally implies somebody who takes what you give them. Tom Brady did not take what defensive gave him.
That's not necessarily true, Red.
Tom Brady took what he fucking wanted. He didn't take what was given him. He took what he wanted.
All right, but that also means that you're throwing the ball up to Randy Moss and Ron Gronkowski and Julian Edelman. It matters the type of weapons that you have around them. The very definition
Tom Brady
of
made Julian Edelman, Cody. Come on, keep it real, man.
Bro, what I'm saying is Edelman is not the type of guy that's like, all you have to do is to get it to him. I'm saying Moss. I'm saying Gronk. When you have that type of talent, you put the ball somewhere around them and you let them do their thing. And you're right. He would take what the defense gave him. And when he had something over the top, he would push the ball over the top. Just because Bryce Young does not have premier arm talent, that doesn't mean that you can't push the ball downfield. Russell Wilson, for years, was one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL, and he does not have one of the biggest arms.
I disagree with that.
Bro, listen, but a lot of people confuse the deep ball with the drive of the ball. Not everyone can drive the ball into a tight window, but you can still have a subpar arm talent and push the ball downfield, man. Drew Brees did this all the time.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler reminds me of a young Russell Wilson, by the way.
Rattler, man. I don't want to hear that.
Well, Red, let me say this to you,
I will tolerate no Rattler hate.
Man, he's a saint now, JD. I don't want to hear that shit.
I know, man. Bro, there's a contingent of Saint fans who want him to start. That's the last thing.
I can make a conversation out of that. Let's be real. If the Saints are at the bottom of the basement, like a lot of people, well, not at the bottom, but close to it, as a lot of people say, who's to say that at some point this season, if it goes off the rails,
it's gonna happen.
That they don't put him in that game.
It's gonna happen, and Dennis Allen probably won't survive the whole season either.
I mean, he may not.
And by the way, anybody, real quick, hold on, I don't mean to interrupt. To everybody talking tough in the chat, ain't nobody fighting nobody, man. Everybody's a bunch of grown men. But y'all keep this shit about football, and we'll keep it a great free for all. But go ahead, Trick.
The hell did I miss?
I was just saying, back to the game manager, game changer things, or the deep arm. Like if you can throw 60 yards on target, then you got a strong arm. Bryce can do that. You know what I'm saying? But Brady was a game manager that turned into an elite game changer. And Bryce can be an elite game manager with a clutch gene, and that'll be just fine. Like Bryce can't what? Bryce can throw deep, bro. I don't know what y'all talking
you
about.
You said 60 yards on target. He did not have one example in 16 games last year. You show me one where he threw the ball 60 yards on target. 60 yards on target, PPP.
Hold on, wait. Let me take this one. I got the data on this shit. I fucking analyzed the shit out of this.
We'll go stats and then PPP.
You are right that there was not a long shot anywhere close to that. I think the longest completion last year was
48.
something like 39. No, I think it was less than that.
That doesn't
But
mean he's not
in any
capable
case,
of doing it.
hold on, just give me a second. But what I will say is when you look at all the data analytics, like I fucking studied the shit out of this last year. They weren't taking deep shots with. I think one time with Frank, they took a deep shot. It wasn't until Frank was gone that following week, it was actually the week after or something like that, that they ended up starting to do it a little bit more with Thomas Brown. So they didn't even start practicing nor taking that. And if you really want to go back to this, then think about the Athletic article that came out 1 week after Thanksgiving last year, towards the very end of the season, which was talking about the footwork that they weren't even like messing with, like trying to figure out how to help him get better with that. So my point is they were not prepared to practice. They weren't practicing this last year. They weren't trying to make this happen last year. It's a non-issue. Like it's not a non-issue. It's something that you really just can't talk about last year's data because there is no data to really support any conclusion from last year. He had a few deep balls, but that was it. They only took the shot a few times and they didn't practice it for shit. So let's leave that one off the table for now.
All right, go ahead, PPP.
Yeah, man. So Red, I always take Red back to this situation right here, and I believe Bryce Young's longest was, I think, 49, if I'm not mistaken. That was in Chicago to Mike Strong, if I'm not mistaken. But Red, first game 1 in Atlanta. I think you forgot about this one, my brother. The only reason why this ball wasn't completed was because TMJ led up. It was a deep shot to the right side of the field. Only reason why it wasn't completed because TMJ led up. That would have been a 60-yard pass, my brother. So to say that Bryce Young's arm cannot make 60 yards plus, I believe that's a disadvantage,
PPP, I did not say that he can't throw the ball 60 yards.
You literally did say that.
My brother,
no,
Red.
G or whatever my man name is. I responded. Hold on real quickly. I responded to your comment that he can throw the ball 60 yards on target. That's verbatim what you said. And I said you cannot find one example, and Stratz confirmed it, but we all knew it. You can't find one example where he did it 60 yards, PPP, whether the receiver pulled up or whether he overthrew him and threw it 80 yards. You can't find one example where he threw it 60 yards on target for a completion.
Well, let me ask you this
completion
question,
was an add-in.
Not for a completion, you're correct. That does not exist in the data set as of yet. But that's why I told you last year they didn't practice it. They didn't try. They only tried it a handful of times. And it wasn't until Thomas Brown came in that they started to try it.
In essence,
which is fucking shocking.
But I didn't bring this up. My man brought this up.
Hold on, wait. If I may jump in here, I think in essence what he was saying and what many Bryce Young defenders have been saying for a long time, that one, it just was not possible on last year's team. From a personnel perspective, the protection they had, with the plays that they were calling, even if Bryce did or didn't have the ability to make accurate 60-yard throws down the field, that wasn't going to be the opportunity for him to show it one way or the other. What I believe Stratz and other people are trying to point to now is, now that you have given him the help that we hope is enough for him to be able to show something, now it's the year for Bryce to show that he can shut up Red Swarm and say, yeah, here's a 60-yard bomb on the money right where it's supposed to be. Because he did throw deep at Alabama. He just did. I mean, all you have to do is look at the film. It might not have been deeper compared to his constituents or his contemporaries, but the dude is not afraid to push the ball downfield. He just needs the adequate protection. If that can't happen, then we might never see that for Bryce after this year.
Right.
That's how important 2024 is.
Right. Can I say this last thing real quick? Then I'm going to roll. I just want to say this.
Yeah,
like, when you look at the NFL as a whole, the deep ball ain't the average ball that's thrown. That's first and foremost. And I think we get caught up in, the highlight reels. But when you look at an average game, your average pass is anywhere between about 7.5 to about 11 to 12 yards down the field. That's the average. So a lot of Panthers fans, and including Red, I'm gonna include Red in this because he like to bring this point up. That deep ball it is needed at times, but it ain't the average, man. So if we can get Bryce Young to cook where the average is at and get some gack yards with players that can create separation, like a Deontay Johnson, and in my opinion, I believe that David Moore is going to come on board and do pretty well as well, along with Xavier Legette. You get these guys with some gack. I mean, heck, we just seen a 1-yard pass from Caleb Williams in preseason that turned into almost a touchdown. So we just need players that can make plays.
So again, Cody, and I know PPP got a role in response. I'll be real quick and say this. This is what Bryce has brought y'all down to in your level of thinking. He says that they don't happen that often. That's a fact. Numerically, you can look at that. The odds of hitting a 50-yard bomb is definitely statistically, and I guarantee you Strats can back this up. Statistically, it's a lot less than the odds of hitting a 20-yard and even a 5-yard pass. The point is, if you've ever heard this quote before, respect for the quarterback's arm.
Absolutely.
You respect the quarterback that can throw into all zones at all levels. When you have a quarterback who can only operate effectively in a certain zone, guess what the defense does? They stack that zone. They stack that zone.
But Red,
you make it easier to defend.
Hold on, Red. But hold on, Red. Let's be honest. Just like Cody just said, that wasn't available to us. Why? Because as soon as Bryce Young hiked the ball, he had 15 defenders in his face. So it wasn't available to him last year.
Well, y'all gonna find out this year with this great offensive line and receiving core that y'all have.
Hey, listen. The offensive line I think is a whole lot better than last year, Red. So Bryce Young is going to have time in the pocket to get that ball down the field. So just wait.
Well, by the way, the Falcons also have to prove that they have somebody that can put the ball 60 yards downfield accurately. Because up to this point, sorry, dog, until I see Kirk Cousins out there doing it, it's not just granted that y'all are getting ready to come out here and start
Cody, that's fine.
Right
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question real quick, Cody?
I mean,
I want your honest answer. I'm gonna be quick with this, because you keep calling Kirk Cousins out on that like he ain't never done it before. Have you ever seen Kirk Cousins do it before?
Oh my!
Yeah, he has.
No, PPP. I'm asking.
Not for the Falcons, though.
Hey, but that's fine. But I'm not talking about for the Falcons because he hasn't played an NFL game for the Falcons. I'm simply asking: have you ever seen Kirk Cousins do it at the NFL level before?
Yeah, with real playmaker, with Justin Jefferson, with Adam Thielen, with Stephon Diggs.
That's cool.
Go ahead and hate, man. It's cool.
Hey, that's
bullshit. That's bullshit. A powerful arm, a quarterback in the National Football League is dependent. Let me tell you what, the excellent minds in the NFL, the superb top of the level NFL minds, when they see a new quarterback, they ask two things. What can you do and what can't you do? Because they'll take what you can do and they'll wrap an entire system around it and they'll improve what he can't do. Now,
Pickle.
The dumbest and don't interrupt me, Strats, and the stupidest NFL minds to date will say, I need this type of quarterback and only this type of quarterback. Those are the guys that are in the one or two teams and then they're out of the league entirely. Okay. But that's and listen, Andy Reid, one of the best offensive coaches in this business has seen today. He can take any quarterback and wrap a system around him that succeeds.
Because he was a free agent, Prime Gotten.
Well, yeah, but you know why? When you look at Kirk Cousins and you look at his postseason, when he goes into the playoffs, his record is just a trip. I don't know what it is, but there's some people that when they get to a certain stage, they fucking can't perform anymore. I'm not saying he's 100% him, but I think that is a factor in it. I don't know. He just never has shown when he gets to the right stage that he can perform 100%.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor. And then I'm going to introduce somebody here in a minute. But just to add on to that, it's the same thing with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. He had a damn good team around him for a long time. And for all those 4,000 yards, yeah, that's great. But I know that Kirk Cousins has a history of choking in big moments. And now he's on a team that has a history of choking in big moments.
Well, y'all need to
That's all I'm
elevate energy.
saying,
Y'all
bro.
need to elevate y'all energy
That's
on this
all
show
I'm
tonight.
saying.
So let me just say this on the heels of what Cody just said. Y'all sound like a bunch of sissies to me. Y'all sound like y'all scared of Kirk Cousins. Y'all scared of what's coming.
That man is
Y'all
Derek
scared
Carr
of what's coming. Go ahead.
That man is Derek Carr 2.0. Derek
Drop
Carr
the rock.
2.0.
Y'all scared.
The NFL playoffs ain't for
Derek
you.
Carr 2.0. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. Hey, man, let me welcome into the Friday Free for All. My man, C. Doug is in the building. C. Doug, what's up, brother?
Man, what's going on, fellas? I'm gonna be short. Most of the time, I can be long-winded. I'm gonna be very
You ain't
short.
coming in here running. Come on.
I'm gonna be short because this is the only thing I'm gonna say. Last year was last year. Like I'm gonna get this point. Kirk Cousins coming from. I know we're on Kirk Cousins. So I'm gonna stay right here. He is. And what's up, PPP? I just checked the chat, man. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, my brother?
One thing I'll say, our fan base is very toxic. Like we hold on to things until we see something new, or till we get what we want out of whatever our observation is, what we think truth is, even if it's right in our face. Unless it's what we want, we are very blind to the truth. And Kirk Cousins, yes, he's on a different team. We hate Atlanta, we hate the Saints, we hate the Bucks. Right now, and I said this.
Y'all.
And I said this yesterday. I ain't about to even talk to you right now because I know you want to rebuttal.
He mad. Let him stay mad.
They're in a win now, and what I mean by that is, and I know Red said, they are on a youth movement, but if I'm not mistaken, when I seen a chart, they're right above the NFL average for age of a roster. So they're not on a youth movement because we are as well.
You just looked at that chart today because it only happened since we signed those last two players.
No, I promise you it wasn't. This was 2 days ago because I've been trying to recover from coming back home. So this was before I went to Charlotte. And when I seen it, Carolina is above the line for an NFL average as well for youth. But where I'm getting at is I just want to make this point. And I already know y'all probably talking about a quarterback. Give Bryce a chance. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. I know Red. I know Red comes up here with that toxic energy, tries to rile our fans up because he is a op and he is a Falcons fan. But at the same time, what I saw Thursday, again, I hate when people say, well, Doug, it was practice. Okay, last year's practice, we didn't take the tea leaves and we didn't take the takes that we saw in the joint practice. Now, whenever he does shine in the joint practice, and the Jets beat writers and Robert Saleh are saying this is not the same Bryce Young that we saw last year. What's the problem when an opposite team comes in and they see and they're actually able to put their hands on your quarterback?
I agree with that.
Now, I need that shirt.
Hey, just real quick. Hey, look,
I just want to say, I've seen it before.
I'm gonna let you go, Pickle. I just want to say, y'all know we got love for Swarm. Swarm's a homie because it is. Look, it's the free for all, and it is free for all, man. You can be any type of fan.
So Cody, I don't get to put up.
However,
maybe I'm gonna change my thumbnail. Fuck the Falcons.
Just so we're clear,
pound the pussies.
Always fuck the Falcons, man.
And it's always pound the pussies.
Every day that ends with a Y is
keep
fuck
praying
the Falcons,
and pound the
baby.
pussies.
You already know it. Fuck them birds, man. We about to put y'all on a rotisserie this year, dog. There's no other team I want to be more than
y'all are.
Can I ask the panel something?
No, you know we're good for beating y'all at least once a year. You already know
not
that.
This year, though. Not this
you
year.
You already know
this year.
that. So go ahead, Trey.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So back on my boy, because I gotta hold my QB1 down, man. Everybody's saying dude can make every single throw. So I mean, they saying this the year to show it, this the year to prove it. I already keep telling y'all, I don't think this is a prove it year for Bryce. You know what I'm saying? But I want to ask everybody. Cody, you already told me yours. What's a stat line that Bryce has to have at the end of the year to get some respect to make y'all be like, yeah, okay, we got something. I'm gonna ask everybody. What's like the numbers?
They don't care about a stat. It's wins and losses. That's why I said that. See, that's why I said this fan base is so backwards. Like again, everybody has their observation of what they want this team to be. We're never going to be on one accord because we're all different, like-minded. We're never going to be on the same page, which is fine. But you just asked, like, Red is a Falcons fan. He sees it from their perspective. They're talking about wins and losses. I've heard people say he has to have 4,000 yards. Then I've heard people say he has to have a better year than C.J. Stroud. It's because expectations going back where this is never going to end. Some people wanted C.J. Stroud. Some people wanted Bryce Young. Some people thought Bryce Young was the reason why Frank Wright got fired. I can care less. I really say Scott Fitter is the reason why this team never flourished.
But let me ask.
I agree, but just answer the question.
Wait.
This is where I call bullshit.
No,
you say that Kirk Cousins ain't never won shit, but I say he thrown for 4,000.
Hey, hold on, Red. Is this the Falcons podcast? Red, is this the Falcons podcast? Or you gonna sit here and listen to the Panthers talk? I don't give two.
Let me something that y'all are doing wrong right away, bro. He asked, what was the expectations or the expectation for Bryce Young? And y'all instantly start throwing around wins and losses like that's a quarterback stat. Like, what are we doing there? Like,
it is, Cody.
It is, but that wasn't the question. It was just a simple question.
Like if Bryce Young throws for almost 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns, and yet the Panthers only win 3 or 4 games, if you're a Panther fan, you're counting that as a W. You're counting that as a W because you saw something from your quarterback that many people doubted was even in him.
But Cody, that's not everybody, though. That's what I was saying. I can agree with, like, content creators because we see it through a different lens. But you're going to have fans that are going to want wins and losses. Again, you're going to want fans that want him to outproduce C.J. Stroud. And you're going to want fans that want him to throw for 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Some of these expectations, like the gentleman just asked, are unrealistic. Again, that's where I say our fan base is so toxic because the quarterback and the teams that we've had before, they want him to be like Cam Newton. Cam Newton will always be a legend, and whatever quarterback that comes into Carolina, they're going to compare him to Cam Newton because what Cam brought, the aura that he brought to this organization and the energy that he brought to this organization.
But that still don't answer the question, bro. Like everybody on this,
it
doesn't. Hold on.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking everybody on the panel because everybody on this. Hold on. Everybody on this panel has admitted they don't expect us to win a lot of games this year. Everybody on this panel expects Bryce to prove that he's a future quarterback this year. So if y'all don't expect us to win a lot of games, but y'all expect Bryce to prove himself, what numbers do he need to put up to prove himself?
So you didn't say it that way. You switched it. Let me
go to Pickle. Go ahead, Pickle.
All right, it doesn't matter the numbers. To answer your question, I mean, to you it does, and I respect that. I really do.
It don't to me. It really don't. But I want the narrative.
For example, if Bryce goes out and puts 5,000 yards up, scores 10 touchdowns, goes to the Pro Bowl, and us winning go to the division, there's going to be fans that's in the chat right now. That's going to scream it's because of Canales and the
there you go, Pickle.
Bryce,
that's a fact,
not
Pickle.
Bryce Young.
Yep.
There are going to be fans. There are Panther fans that wear the stuff, that wear the hats and the shirts and the jerseys, that hate Bryce Young. They don't hate Bryce Young, the quarterback. They hate the fact that he's on the Panthers roster, and they will never like him regardless of what he does. If he goes into the Hall of Fame 20 years from now, they will still hate the day Bryce Young was drafted.
Cam got the same hate.
Something else. Y'all, if somebody wants to have optimism, it ain't your fucking business to tell them they can't have it. If you don't like the fact they got optimism, don't come around.
But yo, Pickle,
if you don't like Bryce Young, that's your business.
That's a message to people who just flat out hate Bryce Young.
You're right.
I'm just asking the question to guys that's on here talking football that are not flat out Bryce Youngs that want to see improvement, what's some numbers that'll be good for you personally? Everybody on the panel, like what numbers? To me, I feel like he's the future quarterback. He doesn't have to go out and put up a lot of numbers to impress me. I just want to see steady improvement. I've already said I don't feel like he's not going to break out until year 3, year 4. He still doesn't have an elite weapon to throw to. We're hoping Deontay Johnson can become that. This is the first year in the system, so it's not a make or break year for me. But for the people who feel like it is, I just want to know some numbers that y'all expecting or that'll be sufficient for y'all.
25 touchdowns, 25.
Go around the whole panel.
Wait, hold on.
Yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, so look, let me get Diesel's skills in. We haven't heard from Diesel too long. Diesel, you still with me, brother? He might be away from his microphone.
No, I was just in it. I was looking at the chat.
No, you're good.
Man. Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, man. What are your expectations on some numbers for Bryce at the end of this year? For you?
Not even expectations. What would be acceptable for y'all?
Yeah, what would be? So what are some numbers you would like to see from Bryce at the end of this year?
No, man. Everything is hinging on this offensive line right now. We've got an offensive unit that's barely practiced together. Our start 5. Damian Lewis has barely been available to us so far. They're nursing a shoulder injury for him. That we've already had reporting from beat reporters that Taylor Moton isn't looking good in camp. Like, these are types of things that we don't want to see from the Panthers. We saw a couple of highlights from Akim Ekwonu pushing guys to the ground in some one-on-one reps, but outside of that, nothing much else. We've still got weak spots in this offensive line, so my expectations of Bryce are hinged to how healthy the offensive line remains. Cade Mays, our backup center, is already injured and out, missing time already. And then the backup after that is absolutely abysmal behind Brady Christensen. Josh Nyman, a guy we brought in to play swing tackle and shore up either Taylor Moton or Akim Ekwonu, has been out, and Dave Canal stated this week he was going to be out for quite some time. Like, he's got a ways yet to go was the words that he used. So all these things as far as depth for the offensive line are looking really bad. We see each and every year the teams go through this. They have to have guys that come in and step up. So Bryce Young's ability to throw for X amount of yards is dependent on this offensive line. And I'm not feeling real good about where we are right now. We're going to see tomorrow when we go into this game, we're going to put in this hodgepodge of guys, 4 of which were brought in just this week, the last 4 days, as a matter of fact, to the Carolina Panthers, being thrust into a starting lineup or a rotation for this offensive line, and it's probably not going to look good. And we're going to see it for ourselves tomorrow. So I'm not feeling great about where the offensive line is. So I was thinking, if we could get to 3,500 yards, that would be really good. From what I saw in the joint practice, I wanted to say 4,000, but I don't feel like the offensive line is going to allow for a 4,000-yard performance. We need to run the damn football is what we need to do. We need to stick to the ground game. We need to let Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, Raheem Blackshear, let these guys carry this team. We're not in a position yet to let Bryce Young carry this team because of where the offensive line is. We're not there. We don't have a good zone blocking team put ahead of Bryce that's ready to be good in the running game, and we don't have a good pass blocking squad at all whatsoever. Our strength is within the run and within a power run scheme. So when Dave Canales figures it out, it might take a couple of weeks, and he's like, oh, man, we really do need to do more of a power run scheme for this offensive line and the players that we have in place. Then we'll see a little more success from the Panthers early on in the season. But as for now,
Cody, can I rebuttal? Can I add on to that? Because I was at joint practice. I will say this. Everybody wants Bryce to play. There's a no-go for that because when Robert Hunt went down, our offense went to shambles. Like, literally, when I say shambles, shambles. Yes, Damian Lewis did not play, but Chandler Zavala held his own against the Jets defensive line on Thursday. But when Robert Hunt went down, it was a scramble of minds because, like Deez just said, we were already down Cade Mays. Then Zavala pulled his hammy whenever he came in, and then Damian Lewis is not playing. That's where I think the success of Bryce is going to be based off the line, and that's the only problem I have with the depth that Dan Morgan brought into the organization. That's the only knock that I would give right now. Did he possibly not prepare for depth? I mean, you never know how injuries are going to go, but the injury bug is hitting the room that we didn't think it would hit, and it's showing with you added 2 guards, but you really didn't update anything else on the offensive line. After those 2 guards go down, it's the same offensive line that we had last year underneath Frank Reich, and we saw how bad the offensive line was. The question marks people have about Austin Corbett held his own. Like Deej just said, Ike Kwanu was killing it from my point of view that I saw. Taylor Moton, I think, is something there, but he did not do bad on Thursday. And again, I was there for 2 practices, and I wanted to see and have my hands and feet on ground to see this. And I'm telling you guys, from what I saw on Thursday, there's hope to know that this team is heading in the right direction. And I know he said Blackshear. I know you guys are out there, but I think a player that's taking the more share that people need to put respect on is Mike Boone. Mike Boone popped 2 runs for 20-plus yards in a live scrimmage when we played the Jets on Thursday. Blackshear has not seen any backyard reps right now. It's been Chuba, it's been Sanders, it's been Mike Boone, and I also want to say Dylan Johnson got a couple of reps. Blackshear has not received a lot of reps from what I've heard and what I saw whenever I was on the ground.
Let me ask you a question real quick about Moton, okay? Charlotte Vibe, Chris on Charlotte Vibe this week was saying when the question and answer segment on his show, and he was asked about Corbett. He said Corbett's fine. Corbett's not a worry at all. He said the folks that he's worried about is Taylor Moton. He said Taylor Moton gets beat by almost anybody that takes him on. That surprised me. Is that what you seeing, Doug?
Really and truly, I'm going to be honest. I wasn't too worried about Moton because Moton, he's going to be a hit or miss. Luckily, whenever I was on the side, and you guys know the side that we're mainly on, when we had joint practice, we had privilege of having O-line and D-line right there on the left side on the back end of the end zone. And Taylor Moton probably got beat twice, but again, my focus was on Icky because Icky needed, and when I say Austin Corbett stood strong, he stood strong. I mean, he got pushed back maybe once, did not lose leverage. But to me, like Dee said, if this offensive line is not healthy, and again, I'm telling you guys, like you can hear a pin drop when Robert Hunt got on that cart, went to the garage, and he finally came back in to finish on 11-11. That's the reason why I say Bryce does not need to play right now, because if you implement him now, and Damian Lewis is probably not going to play, then Robert Hunt, with him having a health scare, they're not going to play. You're going to have that same offensive line that was terrible last year protecting Bryce. And we saw what happened in his first preseason game last year when he got rocked at home and everybody started panicking then. I'm not trying to do that again. Whenever I did see everybody fully healthy, we looked like a different team.
Okay. Yeah. And I read Joe Parsons' article, and I think it was Joe. It was Joe or Mike K one that said that Lewis right now was just getting in shape where he was out for so long. So
I don't believe it, Pickle. I promise you I don't.
Okay. All right. Well,
I didn't mean to cut you off. I will say this, Pickle. The reason why I say that, because Yash Nyman, he was fixing his pads. He came out in pads. He was doing one-on-one drills with our own offensive lineman. When it came to do offense versus D-line, he stood right there on the side. On Wednesday, people were reporting that he was back at practice. The man did not go out. Just like when we are on this platform, we did more work than him, Pickle. He didn't do one thing. So it's something more than condition, because he didn't run. He wasn't over there with the injury players doing exercise or anything. He was basically standing on the sideline the entire time.
Okay. All right. That's what I had read, and I was like, okay, that was trying to give me hope. I thought, okay, if Lewis just has, or if he just has to get his conditioning up, then I could accept that. But okay. All right.
And
that
also,
he was dealing with it.
So hold on, real quick.
The
last thing I'll say too. I know I'm gonna let you get, but my last thing I'll say is the defense is always favored in these early scrimmages, especially up until the point where they get the pads on. The defense is always in a more favorable position. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a little bit too early to judge. Oh damn, Swarm dropped out, man.
But he was dealing with a shoulder before he left.
Hey, Cody, I got to drop out. Hey, Cody, I got to drop out too. I appreciate y'all. Like,
Yeah,
I
man.
always be listening, but again, I
Absolutely, bro.
tell people again, because Thursday, a lot of content creators, a lot of fans, I think, saw something that we needed to see. And yes, it's practice. Again, people can say that, but when you have a live scrimmage that's not controlled, because some of those fights, the Jets were trying to hurt certain players. I'm not going to say they're dirty, but it was not controlled like people think it was. The Jets were very upset that we came out with juice. We set the tempo, and they thought it was going to be sweet, and it did not happen the way that they thought, man. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was saying.
Hey, hold on, real quick. Oh, well, he dropped. I was gonna let him shout out his YouTube channel. But
I was saying,
last thing. I don't mean to interrupt you, Trey. Last thing, and then I'm gonna let you go. To everybody fighting in the chat, I'm just gonna start giving timeouts if y'all don't want to stop littering the chat with y'all bullshit, man. Y'all grown, man. Ain't nobody gonna fight nobody nowhere, man. Y'all chill out. Go ahead, Trey.
Oh no, I was saying they was saying Damian had the shoulder injury he was dealing with before he had the family emergency. So that's why I was agreeing with you last week about, look, man, if the starting O-line ain't ready, if Deontay Johnson is not ready, then there's no need for them to play in preseason. There's no need to put Bryce out there behind backup O-linemen and backup wide receivers. We already know what he looks like in front of that. So, I mean, I agree with that. But I still want y'all numbers. Like, somebody give me some numbers.
Yeah,
Cody, I got yours.
Yeah. But I mean, I want to amend mine a little bit because I think mine are fair, and I think that it's also a reasonable number of expectations that we can think is good enough to want to build on. I'm gonna say around 2,600 passing yards, and I want at least 23 touchdowns. I said 8 or 9 interceptions, and I would like to see at least a 66 to maybe 67% completion percentage, man. If we can get somewhere in that ballpark, I think we're doing good. I think those are the type of numbers that would let me say, all right, I'm interested in wanting to see this thing continue to build and continue to grow. We got JD back in the building, and we got Cole back in the building. We'll go to y'all. We'll go to JD and then Cole. JD, what are some numbers that you think would be good numbers at the end of the year for Bryce Young?
I mean, numbers wise, I'm thinking like league average. I say league average, 3,500, somewhere around that passing. The big thing for me is, can he get to 20 passing touchdowns and keep the turnovers total? Like, I feel like if he's able to keep the turnover number single digit, then we're heading in the right direction with it. I know earlier it was asked, what numbers can Bryce give you? Like, Bryce gives you 4,000 yards passing, but we end up with like a 3-14 record. Like, I see those as two different conversations. Like, Bryce could have a good season statistically, and the team not do well.
Yeah.
The team not do well record wise, but like there's a record number we can get to that will have teams around the league respect us more. Then there's stats that Bryce individually could reach that will have people respect him more. I hope to see both of those happening in unison.
Okay. I mean, I like that. To me, that's a fair answer. That's more than fair.
Yeah.
Cole, what would you say, man?
Just off the top of your head, and if you can't do it, what was his numbers last year?
Um,
Anybody know if they're at the top of their head?
I have to look
If
him up.
not,
I
if
believe
not,
he
it's fine.
was
Don't worry about it.
28, 11,
Let's
and
just
10.
do percent based. Do you want to do 20% on top of what he did last year, or 40% on top of whatever?
Nah, I don't even want to do that. These, what'd you say it was? I'm sorry.
It was almost 2,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Okay. I'll go 2,500, 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and that's still not great. But
sometimes I really do forget that he had 28. That's like
It's bad,
then,
ain't it?
Yeah, that's not I mean, it's bad, but it's also like.
Bro, I ain't hating, but that was the worst the first overall pick in the draft has done since 2007. And I ain't hating. I believe in Bryce. He can do this. The offensive line was that bad, and that was my whole point I was making earlier. It looks like all the chinks in the armor for the Carolina Panthers haven't been taken out yet. We've still got problems on the offensive line, and a lot of it has to do with depth. Now, what we've seen with Dan Morgan and Dave Canales so far into this mini camp or training camp, they're rotating guys in and out. They're trying to find somebody that can play for these Carolina Panthers. They're trying to find that diamond in the rough. That gem that's just lying a little bit underneath the dirt. If we just dig a little further, maybe we'll get down to it. And that's what these guys are doing. They're working each and every day trying to uncover one of those guys for the Carolina Panthers. And with a team strapped for cap, they can't go out and sign a Stephon Gilmore. They can't go out and sign a Simmons or a Judon because we don't have the money. We don't want to leverage our future on this season is why we can't find the money, just like Pickle was talking about earlier. That's why we're churning this roster like we are, just trying to dig in there and find some guy that really fits and really works out for this Carolina Panthers team. Maybe, the Dan Quinn scheme up there in Washington isn't the same as what Avero is doing down here, or it's not the same as what Dave Canales is doing out here, and the guy flourishes and shines. That's what we're looking for. If we can find a couple of those gems, Cody, we might be able to make some noise, but as of right now, we're really struggling in the depth department, especially on the offensive line.
Yeah, man.
That's why it's not a make or break. That's why it's not a make or break year. It's a building year.
On that note, I wanted.
If you still do that and be successful, that needs to be known.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say, like, my outlook on the season. In years past, I tend to give pretty positive outlooks, or what I'm realizing is when I'm giving my record projections, I'm giving my hopes and dreams, like reality versus what I want to happen. Those are two different things. I feel as though I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, the gentleman that was speaking before me, but with finding some gems, some diamonds in the rough. If Leota, if he can step up and develop into a guy who gives you 6 or 7 sacks, and you get a better performance like Lamar Jackson, he shows you that he's a solid number 2 corner. If you can get these guys to step up and with the opportunities they're given and they excel or at least pass, you get that. And you feel completely different as the season goes on. You feel completely different at the end of the season. And it gives us all, fan base, coaches, front office, it gives everyone hey, it's obvious in the draft, this is where we need to go. With everything that's coming out of training camp, I'm trying to keep the optimism at a low, put in a little bit more realism. But I like what I said this when Canales and Morgan were hired. I like how they both seem to be lockstep. Like they both seem to be on the same page. And I feel like that unison is bleeding into the team. You see, like I said, early on in training camp, defense was all over the offense's ass. But now the offense is starting, the defense is all over the offense's ass. And the moment the offense got a chance to go up against somebody who wasn't our defense, Bryce is out there like, y'all don't know me, but y'all gonna know me at the end of this motherfucking seat. Like, I like it. Like, I'm again trying to keep the optimism at a low, but it's like, damn, like we finally got a head coach, a GM, motherfuckers that know what the hell they're doing. And could it be that the Panthers are going to be able to sustain success? Because we had success with Cam, with Ron, but they never seem to be able to sustain it. We have a good season one year, we fall off the cliff the next. Like, could this be the start of the Panthers trending in the right direction for years to come, as opposed to, okay, we can have success this season and then back to obscurity the next season?
Well, a lot of ways you hit the nail on the head, and I'm with you 100%. I'm not freaking out about this team. We're not going to win 12 games. We're not going to the Super Bowl. I don't see that happening. But I was telling Cole the other night in Spaces, and this is where you're 100% correct. If you have a guy like Iku Leota coming here, who we grabbed last year as a UDFA, and you develop him into a rotational piece this year that gets you anywhere between 4 to 6 sacks, just like I was telling Cole last night, you're going to be ecstatic. or Luigi Villain, who was picked up on waivers last year from the Minnesota Vikings. If you develop him into a rotational piece that gets 4 to 7 sacks, you're going to go nuts for the Panthers. That's the kind of growth and development we're looking for. And Dave Canales and Dan Morgan are creating that situation for the Panthers. Yeah. Cole, tell them about what you were talking about Leota last night.
I'm Team Leota all the way. If I don't see our outside backers outside of Clowney, if their health's not getting any better and they're not practicing, give the damn dude a chance. I saw a motor last week that I think he can build on, and he can really become a good player, I feel like.
Yo, I'm gonna add this in. I think we have 4 of those gems that we found just right now, based off training camp. What I've seen, and that's Leota. That's that Damani Richardson guy that just keeps taking the ball away. Undrafted guy from Texas A&M.
Yeah,
that's Leota. That's Leota.
Yeah.
That's Richardson. That's who's the other guy? It's slipping my mind right now. Lamar Jackson could be one of those guys.
Could be.
And Alex Cook. Those are the 4. But also Trevin Wallace, bro. He's a guy that wasn't really a popular pick when we made it, but he's out there looking like he could be one of those next great linebackers.
Picking off Aaron Rodgers.
And when's the last time we hit on? We haven't even been hitting on second round picks. He's a 3rd round pick. We haven't hit on one of those in a long time. So those are 5 guys right there that are all new guys that all could be diamonds in the rough. So I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm definitely liking and I was watching something about Leota the other day. I did not know he's a North Carolina guy that grew up a Panther fan. Used to go to the games.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he used to go to the games. He used to sit up in the nosebleed in the 500 section. I know he went to Northwestern and then he transferred to Auburn. So yeah, man, he got that. He got that pedigree.
I'm into it.
I'm a fan, bro. I really am. I'm pushing him.
We need to build the super team of people from the Carolinas. I've been wanting to do that.
Bring in James Pierce next year to top it off. He's a Charlotte guy.
Just bring them in, man. I want to build that Carolina connection here, man. That's something that we need to have been doing.
That guard we signed today, he's had 17 starts.
Oh, hold on. Speaking of offensive line,
I didn't know we signed somebody today.
I'll bring it up here in a minute. But I wanted to, since we're on O-line, Austin Corbett has been looking decent. And there's been a lot of concern about him playing center after being on guard for so long. Are y'all, I mean, again, very short sample size, but do y'all think that Austin Corbett is slowly starting to kind of be a man of his word? Well, when he said, I never worried about the transition to center. I always knew I'd be all right. And now he seems to be showing it.
Yeah, he looks all right.
I mean, we can't know anything till we see them play a game.
Right.
Not a preseason game, a real game.
Yeah, but we can talk about it and guess.
I mean, you can judge what he's doing in practice and in training camp, like based on his timing with Bryce. How many low snaps are we seeing? How many bad snaps are we seeing?
All I'm saying is I will not be able to tell if he's really, truly going to be a good fit for that position for this team until like week 2 or 3. I just probably won't be able to calculate it.
Cody, he's going to be fine, but he has had some snap problems this week. He's been messing that shit up. I hope he's cleaned it up. I hadn't heard anything about it today, or I don't think yesterday, so we're probably good. But earlier in the week, that was an issue.
Yeah, but Canales said it's nothing out the norm for any average center from what he's seen.
I understand completely playing center in high school. You go through those fucking spots every now and then. It happens.
Yeah. It's a hard position.
He'll be fine. I wasn't okay with it at first, but I honestly think he'll be okay.
Is there anybody? Hey, hold on. Is there anybody here that worries still that Corbett?
Still worried.
A little bit.
His lower body, absolutely, you're gonna worry. Just because of health, though. I don't think performance.
No, I'm not really worried about the O-line, the starting 5 in general. I'm just worried about can they stay healthy. I think it's a reverse from last year. Last year, I was terrified of the interior This year, I feel like the edges are the weakness. I'm worried about Icky and Timo.
So do we all agree that we think it's I don't want to say upgrade, but that they'll perform better at many months from now, at the end of the season, we'll look back on this and say that this offensive line did perform better than last year's offensive line.
Oh,
that's definitely going to happen.
And maybe I shouldn't say this, knock on wood. I don't see how they could do worse.
They're not going to. I damn near put my life on it. They're not going to play as bad as There's no way.
I challenge anybody to show me a worse offensive line in the history of the NFL.
I'm not going to laugh at that.
Careful what you wish for.
Dead ass.
We didn't give up the most sacks last year. It was one worse than us, but
We couldn't run block. We couldn't pass block. What did our offensive line do?
Yeah, but I don't want to say that, and then somebody gets hurt week one, or like because we saw in the joint practice yesterday.
Hold on.
We can't afford anybody to get hurt.
I'm still blaming play calls.
Bryce was hit more than any other rookie quarterback ever, right? Like
Yeah.
one of, if not the most.
Right.
So
He won. I don't remember if it's the most or, but he's up there.
It was tied for the record in Panthers history.
If I can say, Mark, I don't think it's Mark Dominic. One of them, they were talking today on XM Radio, and they were talking about the Panthers, and they said the simple truth is some NFL GMs or some NFL offensive coordinators will install systems where receivers naturally get open. And he said, this is one of them. He said, Carolina is one of them. They have installed systems where the right people will naturally get open. He said they haven't had that system like that as far as the history of
who said ever? Because I can't.
I mean, words are nice, but I gotta see execution.
Mark Dominic had been a longtime general manager for the Bucks. He said, and I'm going to quote him. He said the last time they had an offensive coordinator who consistently got people open was Dan Henning. I'm not going to tell you who he is. He was the offensive coordinator of the 2003 Super Bowl.
I know who Dan Henning is.
Now, he said that was the last time they had an offensive coordinator. He said Frank Wright, he said, I like that. I like him. He's a friend of mine. But he said his system is a slow, drawn-out system, and that was his problem with the Colts. He could never get his people open easily. He's in his opinion, half of the problem in Carolina last year was the system didn't fit the players, and the coaches didn't have any interest in changing the system.
Thank you, sir.
But when I said ever because like in 2003, I mean I didn't know how much of that was on the system opposed to Musa Muhammad and Steve Smith's talent. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, Greg. I do agree with you 100%. I mean, I guess you could say it was a system because it's convenient that way, but it may have just been Smitty and Moose.
Yeah, because we've always had a system that was designed to pound you in the ground. I don't think we've never really had a system that was beneficial to not beneficial, but really drawn up around getting wide receivers open. I don't think we've ever had that system that I can remember.
Which is why, and I don't want to sidetrack this conversation, but last year was so detrimental because they tried to shift it away from what we've always truly been. And it's like for 10 miles, you steered the ship in the wrong direction. So now we have to course correct, which is why we have all these problems that we have to mitigate and look out for. Which is why I would say this season, if more than any, we should, take what
Cody,
we can get.
Can you pull up? I'm sorry. Excuse me, Strats. Can you pull up
Who's
our
on?
last depth chart?
Yeah, sure. Give me just a minute.
Okay.
Competent play calling will help this franchise tremendously on offense, and I think we're going to see it. That's all I wanted to say for right now.
Go to when you get it pulled up. Go to the offensive line.
I'd say intermediate play calling will be an upgrade.
Absolutely, sir. Ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. The scheme overall will be an upgrade. When Canales came in and he told us he was going to design the offense based on what his players do well.
And
I mean,
that's what
all we need.
coaches do. I don't understand how we had all those
That's
people
all we
training
needed.
and not one of them wanted to adjust to what we had going on with our roster.
Yeah,
It was ridiculous.
Frank Wright was like, "This is my system. This is what we're gonna run." You know what I'm saying? That's why it sucked last year. Like, no.
Well, I don't want to go wild off this, but I want to say my point, like way back earlier, like like an hour and a half ago, was talking about how this division is really up for grabs by anyone. I think it still is that way. I think it stays that way for at least another year or two. And any game, any division, any inter-division rivalry, any game that we play against Atlanta, the Saints, or the Bucks, ultimately, I honestly feel whether it's home or away I think it's a 50-50 shot. I think it's winnable. I think all of them could be winnable. I think we're all in the same boat, but in different types of boats, if that makes sense.
I know, I'm with you. I'm not scared of this damn division strat.
I think the Falcons are gonna be tough now, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie.
If they are, it's gonna be tough, right?
Let's look at this offensive line. Ricky Lee is healthy. Will probably play Saturday. Chandler Zavala won't play. Cade Mays won't play. Both of them won't play for an injury. Brady Christensen will. Where at? We don't know. Josh Newman won't play. If you go to the third string, Barbatoro was started last week. He won't play. Mason Brooks was brought in this week. Jack Anderson was brought in this week. Tyler Smith was brought in this week. And Bogart, whatever you say that name.
So you telling me this is going to be worse than last week?
That's exactly who will start. If the starters don't start, you're going to look at a combination of Ricky Lee, Mason Brooks, Brady Christensen, Jack Anderson, Jeremiah Crawfield, and Ike.
That Ryan dude,
Taylor Smith.
That Ryan undrafted center, he's going to play, right? You think?
Yeah. I missed him.
For some reason I thought
he's healthy. He may start at center because he might be the only center we got. Now, Jack Anderson has experience playing center, but he just got there, I think, this week or late last week.
Is Nash hurt too?
Y'all look at that and tell me you want Bryce Young starting.
Yeah, that leads me to my next
Sit him on the
question.
bench.
Is there anybody amongst you? And hey, there were some people that were very outspoken about this just a couple of days ago. Okay, is there anybody who thinks that we need to see Bryce or any of the starters tomorrow?
Not
Any of
behind
them
that.
at all?
Not behind that. If that's what you're going to dance out there, absolutely not. I wouldn't. And I do think Bryce needs to play, but not like that.
If Ian Thomas is healthy, he should start because he damn sure ain't done nothing else this year.
Any guy that I feel like you're gonna count on week one should not play tomorrow. That's just how I feel, Cody. Like, if we're gonna be counting on them week one against the Saints, there's no need for them to play tomorrow.
You know what, Trey? You said something earlier, and I'm gonna throw this in here right quick. If I'm the Panthers, Hubbard and Miles are inactive, I'm gonna let Raheem Blackshear, Mike Boone, and Dylan Johnson see what they can do.
Fight that out.
You basically got one third string. You've got a third string position open. It depends on how they keep. They may keep two if they keep two. Either way, But Dylan, I think you can sneak him on the practice squad. But if he has one good preseason game, somebody else might snag him up for we do.
Look, I'm gonna give you the name of every player I don't want to see. This is the name of every player I don't want to see tomorrow. Deontay Johnson. If you look at Adam Thielen and Kevin Corner, Damian Lewis, Austin Corbett, Robert Hunt, Taylor Moton, Ian Thomas, we don't really. No, you know what? Not Ian either. They're going to use him a lot this year, whether we like that or not. I don't want to see Bryce. I don't want to see Chuba. I don't want to see Derek Brown, Shai Tuttle. I don't want to see Ashawn Robinson or Clowney. Damn sure don't want to see Shaq. Damn sure don't want to see Josie. Bro, DJ Warner, we don't even know what that dude's
cooked. Yeah, he's still on PUP. Year, I honestly, I'd say I would cut him, but if I'm the Panthers, I'm going to leave him on PUP.
Yeah, but
he'll revert to go to the 4 week where you won't see him till 4 weeks.
No,
If
you're
Leota plays good, he's done. I don't
And
want to
then
see
go
him
from
take
there.
Leota's
Hey,
shot.
so I mean, damn sure don't want to see J.C. Horn, Xavier Woods, Jordan
He won't
Fuller.
play. Xavier Woods is hurt already. He'll miss a couple weeks anyway.
Yeah,
so
and
he
then
won't
Dane
play.
Jackson. Do we know the extent of his injury?
Yeah, he's
They
out
said
6
it's a little
weeks.
serious.
He's out
Yeah,
6 weeks.
serious.
Damn,
It's a serious.
man.
That's why
Yeah,
the
only
Gilly
2 weeks.
conversation came back up. That's why
So
the
what
Gilly
is that going to be?
conversation
2
came up.
games? 3 games? In the regular season? How many regular games you going to miss?
I mean, I
People
think
said 3 last night.
At least 2. At least the first 2.
What was it, groin?
It's a hamstring.
Oh, it's a
Go ahead,
that's another
Preseason
area they're not going to
relevant then.
bullshit with.
If they ain't gonna play, if they
They'll
not gonna play
aggravate
at
that
all,
bitch quick.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, wait, hold on,
So
Locke.
so
You want
so,
to
so y'all don't want them to
play?
play at all.
No, I don't want him to play at all, man. It's meaningless football
No.
games, man. But
So
go ahead,
I only
Locke.
want them.
y'all don't
I
want them to
only.
play in no
I'm
preseason games at all.
I'm like Canellis. I only want them to play if the O line is strong. That's it. Like if we're resting Damian Lewis, we're resting Robert Hunt. Don't send Bryce out there. We have no depth on the O line, bro. Like all our backup O linemen are hurt. So do I want to see Bryce out there with guys fighting to make the roster, protecting them? No. Especially after looking what.
Let me ask Locks real quick. Locks, why do you want to see him tomorrow? What do you think we gain from doing that? Yo,
Okay,
Locks, you there?
before I answer that question,
Yeah, go
do
ahead.
y'all want to see? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Before I answer that question, this is what I want to say. Do y'all want to see the starters play in any preseason games or none at all?
I want to see them, but I don't want to see them if they're not healthy. If the O line ain't healthy, no.
I would rather
Let me say
start the
last
season
week.
a little bit off track.
Last week, I got up here and I argued that the starter should play a quarter. In that process, in this week, I've listened to a lot of players talk. Some Panther related, some not. I've listened to them. I've read articles. I've listened to a bunch of NFL takes from professionals, not fans. They all come with this conclusion that and the players would enjoy the joint practices. They view that as better than in a preseason game. Okay, the joint practices, contrary to popular belief, they're not controlled. They're line up like a regular game, and they practice. And there's hitting, there's tackling, there's the Jet this week. The Jets defense purposely went after some of our players just to spite. A lot of people that was there could tell you that. In that time, a lot of them, including Panther players, they get more out of the joint practices than they do preseason games, and in that reality, and the starters that was started Thursday, they had 51 snaps in practice in one day against the Jets. They wouldn't get that many snaps in a preseason game. And the preseason games are so hidden with what's happening that listen, if every single starter started on the entire offense, then I would agree to put Bryce out there for a quarter. If every starter started. If they're not, I ain't. And they ain't, so I ain't. Sorry.
Let me just add a 2-cent perspective here. If you don't think Canales and Dan Morgan and all of them aren't sitting in a room and talking through all the same concepts that we are all talking about with the risks, the upside, the downside, when to play who, where, what, I genuinely think they've thought about this probably more than all of us have thought about this. So I think.
Hey,
I think. Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me see if that got it. Yeah, Trig, make sure you get your earbuds in, because we get some feedback from you. But yeah, go ahead, Cole. Or whoever I know.
Hey, Cole. Cole. Just to answer your question, just to answer your question, I would like to see them play, but I would agree with Trig. If the offensive line and the wide receivers not going to play, I guess there's no point of playing them. I would like to see them play. They need to play that third preseason game, though. In my opinion, they need to play that third preseason game. That's all I got on that, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, and I'll just say this, a lot of it, the older way of doing it was the starters played in a preseason game to get the rust off. That was the older way of thinking it. Okay, but practice and joint practices now, they rely, the Jets, I like how the Jets have done or will do 3 joint practices before every preseason game. So they're kind of cheating. But in reality, players nowadays, they may not need to start at preseason games. They may not need to play.
That's the thing. It's like if you want to break this
They
down
may
to
not
like,
need it now.
go ahead, sorry.
At one time
You're
they
done.
did, but I think that I don't think that I don't think the starters need to practice.
Did you catch Belichick, Pickle? Did you see him talk about it?
Well, I haven't seen him talk about it, but Belichick never played his starters.
So he talked.
Brady did a little bit because he screamed about it. But go ahead.
Yeah, he talked about that. So it was just a few days ago. I forget if anyone can remind me what or the audience, whoever wants to know what podcast he was on. I can't remember exactly. Oh, it was Pat McAfee's show, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, because AJ was there and he talked to AJ. But he went on the show like just a few days ago, and he talked about the preseason thing. Now, what I picked up on first, Pickle, was because I love that you pointed out that like, oh, he never did these things. He kind of alluded to the fact that his opinions changed over the year. He didn't outright say it, but the way he was talking about it, it sounded like it was something that now my opinion is different than it was 5-10 years ago. And I don't know. I mean, I would just recommend just going and watching it. It's worth it. It's only like a minute or two long.
Okay, I will. Is it on YouTube?
Or really for anyone? Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I will.
But really,
It was
just
really
aimed
good,
at
Strats. I watched
anyone.
that whole thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And ultimately, what he was kind of saying when it came down to was that it is kind of a very complicated issue to figure out exactly perfectly what should I do in this moment, planning all this stuff out. And it kind of comes down to, he was talking about whether or not if players want to play in the game, they will find a way to, they'll make it known enough and they'll go out and they'll make some plays. Yeah.
Hey, real quick,
that was the most important part.
Hey, hold on. Let me go to Diesel skills real quick. Deez, is there any part of you that would like to see any of the starters tomorrow, even at all, for a little bit, or is this issue done, over with, and resolved?
Yeah, with the amount of injuries we've seen already, Cody, I don't think it's a good idea to run the starters tomorrow. One of the stats that I wanted to bring up while Strats was talking was the fact that 17 other teams in the NFL did not play their starting quarterback in their first preseason game. So you got to remember that the Panthers were with the majority of the NFL in not playing Bryce Young in the first preseason game. So going into this next preseason game, especially with the injury to Cade Mays and the injury to Chandler Zavala, we're going to have to sit this one out, fam. We're only vying for about 9 or 10 spots on the offense and 9 or 10 spots on the defense at this point, guys. Where we're at in the season, this is the bottom of the depth chart. This part of the roster is very fluid. We're going to see guys swap in and out on this part of the roster to the practice squad and be inactive or activated throughout different weeks during the season. So this isn't a lot to worry about tomorrow. Just let the Panthers get healthy as they can, and let's run this third and fourth string, and let's look for some guys that are on the bubble that could be one of those gems and be a diamond in the rough for the Carolina Panthers. They're out there. We just got to find them, Cody.
Fact.
Yeah, man.
I want to say,
yeah,
go ahead.
Trey. No, go ahead.
To answer his question, like what I wish the O line and the receivers were like 100% healthy, and we could have seen like maybe 1 or 2 drives last week, set them out this week, and they play the whole first quarter next week, like old school football. But with the way the health is, nah, I don't think they should play at all now.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I've said before that I know that the Rams do it this way. There's a few other teams that just don't play starters. And hey, man, people were giving me why do you want to play so scared? I'm like, dude, it's minimal. You're not getting anything in preseason that really lets you do anything. Like the idea that you have to play in preseason in order to not start slow during the regular season, to me, that's an excuse that you put on coaches for lack of preparation. Like if they're not ready to go, and the only thing that was going to get them ready was preseason football, to me, that's improper preparation throughout training camp. But maybe
I don't know, Cody. I would politely disagree with you in saying that there's all these players and there's all these different people that have different opinions.
Hold on, let's try to finish. Go ahead, Stretch.
Some might say, some of these players might say that they have a ritual, right? We've heard this many times. And that might be someone's ritual. So it's hard to just take the entire data set of all NFL players currently playing and be like, none of them would like to play in preseason. Some of them do. So you get this balance, but I don't know what percent of what is, you know what I mean? I don't know how many out of all the players, what 40% like this and 60% like, I don't know what the numbers are, but some percentage of players like to, play in these preseason games. And I think they even kind of quoted, I want to say they quoted Joe Burrow saying something like, or someone did something like, I want to get hit once. That locks me in.
Yeah.
That gets me. So they all have their like rituals about them. And then they go to the coaches. It's a very like complicated thing, right? They're going to the coach, pretend you're the player, and you go to the coach and you like, well, I would like to do that. And they're like, okay, well, we have a scheme, we've got a plan, we've got a thing that we're going to do, but we're going to try to take that. And he's got all these variables of trying to fit everything in a fucking system, in a calendar, really. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many variables. I just don't want us to lose track of all of it.
I understand the argument for it. It just, I don't know. To be honest, in recent years, I haven't heard too many players. I mean, I know there are some, but I haven't heard too many players double down on wanting to get hit in preseason football. Just because, and another conversation that always happens relevant to this is it's not the same playbook. That it's a tampered down offensive playbook that really isn't indicative of what we're going to do. You're basically running some of the same concepts. And with all the nuance gone, it just, to me, you're putting your guys out there in harm's way. And if they get hurt in preseason, then think how many game checks they could be missing by putting themselves out there. I feel like people just don't forget what happened to Cam Newton. Cam Newton on an innocuous preseason football game against the New England Patriots. He broke his foot up, man. And that was really the last time that we got to see Cam like really here in Carolina. Yeah, New England. Is that what I said? Or what did I say?
Yeah, no, I think you did. You did say it. I was just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was reminiscing.
This what I'm asking you to pick. This is what I'm gonna ask you and Pickle this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you and Pickle this because I heard Pickle say players said they love to play those scrimmages practice and you still get hit as much as you do in the preseason. Like, what's the difference? Like imagine if you have scrimmage and Bryce Young he breaks his foot the same way Cam did in a preseason game, or if
part of the risk you have to take,
and you still getting hit.
No, I agree with you. That's you've defined it perfectly. You're trying to weigh all of these things. There's all these things to consider. It's impossible for anyone to be like, here's a formula that applies to every team. No, you can't do that.
A lot
Here's
of
here's what applies to our team right now. That's what works.
A lot of it is more about the coach's personal decisions. That's just what it is. McVay hates the thought of playing a starter in preseason. He flat out won't do it. Some coaches, they like to start players in preseason. Andy Reid leaves it up to the players. He says if you're a starter, you should make that choice yourself. It's a lot to do with the coach's decision, and he'll take input from the GM and the other coaches around him, but it's his decision. And it varies. It varies. Some starters probably need to play a little bit.
And by the way, Shane Reed
may
says,
have only been starting 1 or 2 years, but some players don't. And I, my personal opinion, tend to trust the coaches on this because
Shane
they
Reed
deal
reminds
with the
us
players
that
in the meeting room. They deal with them in the meeting
Shane
room.
Reed reminds us that Steve Smith broke his arm in preseason football.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
look, it just comes down to that.
It was also
it
was a different time though.
I know if you want to hold on if you want to say that players want to play and that helps them out, great. To me, I would just never put them in harm's way before the season even started to risk knocking down
Cody.
all of like, guys. Listen, imagine. Look, I know nobody wants to play scared, and some guys really want to see them play. But could you imagine how defeated we would be as a fan base if we went out there and just a stupid play where Bryce gets rolled up on wrong and tears his Achilles or some dumb shit like before the season even started? That would deflate this fan base in a way that kills our
and it would do the
before
same.
the season even starts.
Yes.
Why risk that?
Yes, but Cody, that would do this. It would have the same effect if you did a game 1. If you did that in game 1, that would have the same effect.
Players come out week 1 and break their leg. We had
but guys, there's a difference. No, there's a difference though.
1.
If you're doing it in preseason football, then you're doing it against backups who are trying
Aaron
to
Rodgers.
that are going
Aaron Rodgers.
All right, but that was during a real game. That was during a real
in the
game
first game, and it was the first few plays. It was the first 2 or 3 plays of the first regular season game for the Jets last year. This is my point.
Right,
you cannot immediately.
Game. It meant
was it meaningful that he had 2 plays, Cody? Did he do anything in those 2 plays?
I mean, I understand.
It don't matter if it's a preseason game or a regular season game. You hurt.
Yes,
you
it
hurt.
does.
The guy that got hurt
does.
Why?
he just knows the leg broke.
No, I'll tell you why it matters because if
it's
for the mental aspect.
No, listen, it's what I just said to you though. If you go out there game 1 and in the first couple of plays you get hurt, yeah, that can happen to anybody. You can say that can happen in the preseason too. But the fact of the matter is you are not building towards something in preseason. It is meant to determine your roster depth. The amount that you think that you're going to gain in preparedness in preseason football, I assure you, is very minimal compared to what we're getting from something like these joint training camps right now.
Is that also, Cody? Let me.
My final point. My final point, and then I'm gonna pass the microphone. Is now you're in a situation where these starters that know that they're going to be playing the season, who already know what they have on the line. If they're playing against other established veterans, everybody knows what's on the line. They're not trying to hurt each other. Whereas in preseason, you have a bunch of young guys that are looking to make a name for themselves. There's no guarantee that they're going to pull up right before they get that opportunity to make the tackle that might seal their roster spot for them.
Yeah, so yes, but you also want your first team to do one sentence and I'm done. You want your first team to take one swipe at playing another team other than your defense in preseason. That's it. All right, I'm done.
Hey, all right,
that's what I mean. Yeah, but that's what joint practices are for too, though. But like, the idea is if you have like an Aaron Rodgers situation last year where you get hurt on the first few plays of the season. It's week one. You're supposed to be out there. You prepared the whole offseason for week one. So you don't have the narrative of, well, should he been playing? You know what I'm saying? If Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles in preseason, now the head coach has some explaining to do. You lose confidence in the coaching and the decision in the locker room. That opens up a whole can, opposed to week one regular season. Oh man, that's just unfortunate. The idea, like every coach, every training staff, every front office, the worst thing they can have happen is a player they're depending on get hurt in the off season, whether it
Yes.
be practice, whether it be preseason. I mean, yeah, it happens, but that's like the worst thing ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was at the training
Yeah.
camp when Kelvin Benjamin tore his ACL in joint practice against the Dolphins.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying? He was just running a slant route. Like,
It,
and everybody, like the whole energy dropped from the fan base. We happened to go on to the Super Bowl that year, but the morale was super, super low.
I
If it
was
wasn't for Luke, TD, and Cam keeping that locker room together, that would have been a terrible season.
then, but the morale shouldn't be over the. I mean, the temporary morale is less than like what did you finish on? We went to the Super Bowl that year. That's the big. Look how wide of a gap that is from holy shit all the way rock bottom to oh my
Yeah,
god,
but
we're at the top. Do you see that?
to
So
me,
don't
Yeah,
put
but
as
you
much
still
emphasis on it. Is what my
you
point
want
is.
to do
why even
you
risk
want to do
that though?
everything to keep the players that you're depending on in the regular season. You want to do everything you can to keep them healthy and out of
Yes.
harm's way. And if that means not
Yes,
playing
of
in
course.
preseason, that just
And they're
means not
also,
playing in
and
preseason.
another thing to add on the trade, they're also adding more and more football games to the end of the season. We know that eventually there's going to be 18 games. And guess how they're going to justify adding more
They're going to
games?
take more
Oh, that's
preseason
right.
games away.
They're going to take away more preseason games. So to me, not
Okay.
only is it my last thing, not only is it putting your players in harm's
I'm
way,
gonna talk after this.
but yeah, okay, then pickle. But if you're denying that this is the way that the NFL is moving now, eventually there are going to be no preseason games because I literally heard it come out of Roger Goodell's mouth. So
Yes.
in the future, you're not even going to have the option to do it. So why not get ahead of the curve as an organization and just start now and never play your starters because they're not going to have
I'll
that
accept that
available
point.
to them in the future.
I'll accept,
The
I'll accept your
NFL
premise.
has already talked to the owners. They've already talked to the owners that eventually, the next few years, sooner if they could get it pushed, but the next few years, training camps, they're waiting for the NFL Players Association to approve it. The preseason or training camp will start toward the first week or two of July or the second week of July. Okay, after the 4th of July.
Well, leading up to it.
Training camp, no, you're not listening to me, sir. Training camp will start. Okay, and training, there will be no OTAs. There will be no workout from the day your season's over until the second week of July. There will be no player involvements in stadiums unless you're hurt doing the rehab. Okay, there will be no player involvement. There will be no player workouts on team premises. So then for the second week of July, training camp starts for the full everybody. And then it stays that way and then preseason games are replaced with regular season games. That's where the 18 and that the preseason games are replaced by that.
Which is stupid in my opinion.
Goodell and everybody are pushing hard for, and the players. It's what I've been saying on some spaces, and the Players Association doesn't have any balls to stop it. Owners will flash a few more extra $1 million at him, and oh yeah, we'll take that, sure. And then
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Pickle.
If the Players Association had balls, they would say, okay, we'll do that, but here's things we want. No more turf on any field, on any NFL field. You want this, we want payback.
Well, Pickle, pretend that you're a head coach.
Not a little bit. They don't listen to coaches. They don't.
If you're head coach
NFL
right now,
owners, the NFL owners and the players
that's not what I was going to ask you.
do not respect the players. The coaches have a coaching association, but it's got as much respect as
what was your question, Stretch?
In Russia.
I was going to ask you if you're a coach right now, Pickle, what and you had two players. One said they didn't want to play, but their first string, and one said they did want to play and their second string. What are you like? How are you? What are you doing?
If my personal opinion, if that starter looked good the previous year, he wouldn't play. He wouldn't start if he didn't want to. If he looked bad, I tell you, if Icky come to me and say I don't want to play in preseason, I say too fucking bad, bitch. You suck last year. Get your ass out there. That's what I would tell you. Now,
so Bryce comes to you and says, "I want to play 6 plays."
No, ain't no 6, 7 plays. You're playing the first quarter.
I want to play series. Fine. I want to play one
no matter what
series. Bryce is like, "Hey, I want to play a series of plays."
I'm the coach. You're the player. Shut your mouth and do what I tell you.
But by the way, I just don't agree with
And what
that.
are you telling him?
But again, Pickle.
They signed a contract. They is owned by the team.
Hold on. Pickle. But again, and then I want to move on. I want to get everybody's final thoughts. The idea that, okay, Icky played like shit last year. I'm agreeing with you more than anyone. We did the film.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, is there literally anything in the world that Icky could do, even if it's to go out there and have a good series in preseason? Does that tell anyone anything about what he's going to do this season? Like, it doesn't, man.
No,
like,
that's not the point I was making. I was saying if a player comes to you and says, "I want to play a series,"
yes.
No, I'm saying Pickle said that he would make Icky play, even if Icky didn't want to play. And I'm like, nah, if I have you penciled in as a starter on my roster, I'm not fucking with these meaningless preseason games. I'm sorry. I understand both sides of the argument. I truly do. And by the way, Andy Reid agrees with some of you. Patrick Mahomes played. Stroud played. Anthony Richardson played. A lot of starters have played. So I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I just default to what I said last, that we know eventually they're going to be getting rid of preseason football. Why not just be ahead of the curve and do it that way? Go ahead, pick one. Then I'm going to get everybody's up.
Yeah.
PBG says they don't understand what they're saying. If you're not running the plays in games, how do you know it will work in real game scenarios? Well, let's see. The Rams don't play starters, period. Ain't many years. And
they won a Super Bowl.
So I believe there's a lot of starters in the NFL who never play in the preseason.
Yeah.
I believe they got that shit handled. All right. Just because you don't understand it, that means it's more of a you problem than the team problems. No disrespect.
Yeah, man. I'm with Bill Cravens on this one. Why put your franchise quarterback in harm's way? To me, I just wouldn't do it. But hey, man, listen, this has been another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. It's been another heated one, man. Great conversations up and down. I appreciate y'all for being here every single Friday, for spending your time with us, for being on the pod, and helping us produce this incredible discussion. We appreciate y'all, man. And football is here. So as we leave tonight, and as I go through everyone, I'm going to ask for your final thoughts for the show, and what, if anything, are you looking for tomorrow in preseason? And I'm going to start with my man, Locks. Locks, man, do I still have you on here, bro? Locks, man, what's up, dude? Do I still have you?
He's sleeping.
I don't hear Locks. All right, appreciate you, brother. Next up, we got my guy, C3 Cole, in the building. I love you, my brother. I love what you bring to the show. I love the energy. Give me your final thoughts for the show, and what are you looking forward to tomorrow of preseason football.
We are one step closer and 1 week closer to some live action, my friend. I know we're getting it in preseason, but we're going to have meaningful football to talk about very soon. It feels great, man. Just appreciate everything y'all do for me. Love working with y'all every week, man. Let's get it. Keep pounding. We're on to the next one.
Keep pounding, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Next up, my brother, the man of all things strats and stats for the Carolina Panthers, my brother, Mr. Strats. Give me your final thoughts for the show, man. And what's something you're looking forward to tomorrow? And by the way, what time did they play tomorrow?
7.
Cody,
Okay.
Leota, my fault. I didn't have that. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay,
most.
it's
Yes.
Leota. All right, go ahead, Strats.
I'll keep it short. I already talked a whole bunch, and I apologize. I had a lot to get off my. I still got another time,
That's what the
another
free
place.
for all is for, man. That's what the free for all is for.
Yeah, you're
Don't
fine,
need to
man.
apologize, man.
You're good.
That or just tweeting things into the void, you know. Ultimately, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to obviously a Panthers game tomorrow, and I hope everyone has a safe and enjoyable, fun weekend. Keep it like that. Pass it back to you.
Yes, sir. Strats, we appreciate you, brother. Next up, my man Trigger Smitty. Trigger, as always, it's been a great conversation, brother. You know we love having you over here, man. Appreciate you as always. Give me your final thoughts for the free for all, and who's someone you are looking forward to potentially impressing tomorrow, or just what would you like to see in general?
Final thoughts would be, you know what I'm saying, it's been a great Friday as always. Love rocking with y'all. Who I'm looking forward to seeing tomorrow is I want to see if we can have a quarterback and some protection to actually get a good evaluation on these wide receivers. I want to see Coker make some plays, man. You know what I'm saying? These last 2 games are vital for some of these position spots. I want to see him show something. But you know, I can't leave without saying shout out to my boy Bryce for lighting the Jets up yesterday, man.
Yes,
I keep
sir.
saying it's not a prove it year, it's a building year, man. We're gonna finally get some real coaching in the building, establishing an identity. You know what I'm saying? And once Bryce gets some elite weapons, we're gonna be fine, man. We on the right track. And I think yesterday was a stepping stone and a proving point showing that. So yeah, I want to see Coker, man. I want to see the O line. I want to see who's gonna make. I want to see if Leota's gonna build on his performance last week. I want to see these corners. I mean, really, man. I want to see everybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
who's trying to make a name for themselves. And I want to see us score some touchdowns, put some points on the board, man. So yeah, we'll do it again next week. C3 fam, love y'all, man. Enjoy y'all weekend.
Appreciate you, Trigger. Hey, man, enjoy your weekend. So some
Good
great
stuff.
points, man. Yeah,
For
we need
sure,
to
for
see
sure.
some. We need to see some points. We need to see a touchdown. How about that? We
And I'm
ain't scored a touchdown yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my Panther following back up, man. So y'all follow me at Triggy Smitty on Twitter, man. I'll never call it X.
Yeah, man. Hey, brother.
Agreed.
Also, yeah. Hey, we'll add you to our C3 chat, man. But we gotta put the C3 in your name tree. We gotta squad up out here, bro. You see how they are in these Twitter streets, bro. We need C3 Army, C3 Legion, brother. You know, we appreciate you, man.
I can add you in there without you adding C3.
Oh, I know.
got
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah.
I love it when we see
He's
new
recruiting.
members rocking that C3,
Yeah,
man.
you're right.
We got
You're
the
right,
best.
man.
We got the best Panther
You're
fan
right.
community there is. But
There
we
is some
appreciate
people.
y'all.
There are some people in that group that we would prefer them not put the C3 on their name. You know
Oh,
that.
yeah, right.
You know who you
What the
are.
fuck, Pickle? That's so mean.
Yeah, but later on I'll tell you who I'm
He's talking about me.
No, I'm not.
He's talking about me.
No, I'm
I
not.
know.
I didn't even know you had it in
No,
there.
I'm talking about somebody else.
Hey, but
He's probably
A
talking
guy
about
likes to talk politics all over the place.
oh, I think I know who you mean.
He
But hey,
lives in
man,
Arizona.
listen,
You know who you are.
how about this? Panther Pickle, it's your turn. Give me your final thoughts and who do you want to see.
I actually, and this may surprise, Canales said last week that he can't judge or they can't judge, and it was unfair to the wide receivers, because with the play of the quarterback, you can't really judge the wide receivers or something of that effect. And I'm gonna watch these young quarterbacks because they have to play better in order for the wide receivers to play better. But that offensive line has to block better so the quarterbacks can play better. But you're not going to have perfect blocking in the NFL anyway. So you got to learn how to play with a little bit of pressure. So I'm going to watch them too and see how far. If both of them fail, you're pretty much going to expect them to claim. I think you're going to expect for them to claim a quarterback in the waiver wire and dump both these two quarterbacks we got on this roster. Now, y'all folks, I want to throw this out there here. You know, here lately, a lot of Panther fans have been at each other, and they're just, and it goes beyond football now. I've noticed a guy on Twitter that I follow for a long time tell another guy that we follow for a long time that I've about had enough of you. Won't you do the world a favor and jump off a tall building? And that's just uncalled for.
What?
You know, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to take the quarterback talk or whatever it is.
Yeah, y'all take
sometimes it's best.
Man.
Yeah, sometimes it's best to turn off social media, turn off your phone, disconnect from the world, and take you a couple days. It don't matter what you do. You sit at home and play Pillywinks, whatever the hell that is.
Hey man,
you know?
Pickle. The kids nowadays, Pickle. The kids nowadays would say, "Go touch grass."
Yeah.
Go touch
if you're
grass.
really bored, go to the local gym where all these guys are working out. Walk in and smack the hell out of the first guy you see.
Okay, well, this.
Then your days
We don't condone.
will get a lot more.
No one condones violence. Don't do that.
About football after that.
Yeah, don't do anything. Don't do anything Pickle ever tells you to do ever. That's
probably a good thing.
Yeah. Hey man,
Pickle's just kidding.
Last but not least, well, that's the thing. He's probably not kidding, but we don't do what Pickle says.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But we
There's a
appreciate
reason why
y'all.
they don't call me when the.
All right. Last but not least, we always let the brand ambassador close out the show because that's what he does. I appreciate you as always, brother. It would not be a Friday free for all without you. We're gonna give you the final words, your final thoughts for today's free for all, who you are looking for or what you are looking for in tomorrow's preseason game, and then take us out of here, brother.
Yeah, not looking for a lot tomorrow from the Panthers. If you're a diehard Panthers fan and you absolutely hate to see the Panthers lose or not look great on the field, probably don't tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow is about us finding the bottom 10 players for our offensive roster and the bottom 10 players for our defensive roster. So we're looking at guys, 2/3 of the guys that we're going to see tomorrow night probably aren't going to make the Carolina Panthers team. So if it really hurts your feelings or makes you not feel in a good way about the Panthers to watch us lose or not play well, tomorrow is not the game to tune into. This is not going to be the cream of the crop for the Carolina Panthers playing tomorrow whatsoever. The only thing I really want to see is some good work from the offensive line. We didn't look great at all last Thursday when the offensive line went out there on the field, given they were third and fourth string. And it's going to be the same thing again. I just want to see a little bit more improvement from that third and fourth string, that kind of depth building that we need on the Carolina Panthers roster right now tomorrow. That's really all I'm looking for. Other than that, I want to say shout out to the C3 community. I think that a lot of people are really starting to see that's what the longest running Panthers podcast is all about. It's about the community that we're building here. It's not just here on the Friday Free for All and the Tuesday night show. There's a post-game show as well. You're welcome to interact with the Tuesday flagship show by calling the cat call number, which is 252-228-5098. This is your chance to join the C3 Panthers podcast and be a part of what we're building in the community that already is here for you to join. And we want you to be a super fan. It's only $1.99 a month to be a C3 super fan. That gets you all kinds of new emojis you can use in the chat, along with the green connotation as well. Guys, it's not just a conversation that carries on here on YouTube. It spreads over to the X app or Twitter as well. The whole C3 Legion is running on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Mondays and Thursdays, at 6:30 p.m. Waiting for you guys to join and be a part of that conversation. Let us know about how you feel about these Carolina Panthers. It's all the time we get new people popping in and talking in those spaces, and that's what we're trying to build. That's the community that we want you to join. And it's the same thing here on the Friday Free For All. You're welcome to join this show and talk about how you feel about this Carolina Panthers teams. It's not just for a platform for us to talk about them, but a platform for you to talk about them as well. And the conversations have been fantastic tonight, Cody. I am looking forward to what this Carolina Panthers team has for us in the future. And it may not be in the near future. It may be a little farther out, a little more out of reach. But that's okay. We've seen some things that give us hope, and that's all we need right now, because we're in the depths of a rebuild, and we're going to get there one day. And it might not be tomorrow, but the day is coming soon, and we can see it happening brick by brick. And if you want to keep up with how that happens, make sure you tune in to C3. And I ask you to keep pounding.
Keep pounding, C3. Until next time, keep pounding.